Hello, I'm here. I have a cup of coffee and I'm ready to go. Hello, Kitty Tick. Yes. Gayfesh, Max. Hello. What's up, Mersh? Andy's. And yes, hello, Mama. And then over on the YouTube chat, hello to the couple people hanging out over there. Yes, you are on time today. Yes, it indeed, you, the gayfish. It's true. We are swimming in the pool together today. What a wonderful day. It's Sunday. Uh, it's been a very eventful week for me. I feel like normally there's not this much stuff that goes on in such a short period of time. So I got my tattoo on Thursday. I got the outline of it done. I kept feeling ill, so I'm going to go back and get it finished later. So that was fun. Always a good time. Getting a new tattoo is healing fine. Like, it's super thin lines at this point, so it's, I've got no complaints about it at this point. We did mention the D Club last stream. Yes, it's true. And I did post a picture of the new tattoo over on Patreon, if you give me $1. Well, so, yeah, that was pretty fun. And then, also, I've been really looking forward to getting involved with the community garden for a while, and it finally has come to fruition. Very excited. We paid our fees and everything this weekend, and I finished planting stuff this weekend, and, it's kind of nice. I probably should get gardening gloves, because you never know what kind of crazy stuff is in the ground. Like, you could get stabbed with glass. It happens sometimes. But, I got everything planted that I wanted planted. There's a little bit less space than I thought there was going to be, but I'm not really too upset about it. It's all good. And they also have like communal plots. So I have my one plot that's relatively small, and then there are like several different like communal areas. And so I did plant a couple of things in there. You should tattoo your thumb green. I have no desire to do that. That sounds really, 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 really painful. Oh boy. I think I'm going to talk to my therapist about EMDR or something, because I'm getting really annoyed with the fact that the trauma lives in my body again, It went away for a couple of months and now it's back, and it's like pretty persistent. I think that's part of why I kept feeling ill during my tattoo, is because I have like problems now that I didn't have before. But I'll talk to my therapist and we'll see if we can come up with any solutions. In the meantime, I'm doing like exposure for myself. I'm like watching slow-mo tattoo videos and things like this to like, okay, I'm like remembering the pain, and I'm like trying to convince my brain that this is normal and it's acceptable. But I'm also going to like bring an ice pack next time so that I have something to like hold that's super cold. I think I'm about 10 minutes late. You're only about like 5 minutes late. We had a long music time at the beginning of the show. So, yeah, trauma needs to pay rent for how much it gets in my way and bothers me and like is in my space uninvited. Get out of here, girl. Unfortunately, it doesn't work like that. And like I already did prolonged exposure therapy, so I'm wondering if I should, because I did start doing some EMDR back with my old therapist. She was like primarily a DBT person, but she had done some training in EMDR, so she was, working on some of that stuff with me. And I'm kind of interested in going back to it, just because trauma is really, really annoying. And I don't know for sure that that's the reason why. Do you meditate? Not really. Um, I mean, not in the traditional sense of meditating. I don't think that works for a lot of people. And I think this is part of why the concept of mindfulness gets a bad reputation, because a lot of people assume that by mindfulness you mean trying to meditate, like empty your thoughts, like, become just an observer. And it's like, yeah, like it is not that easy for some people. So you kind of have to give people a variety of areas of focus so that they can try different kinds of mindfulness. Um, But yeah, I think that partially also it was that I did not take my Ritalin, and I think my Ritalin kind of helps with my low blood pressure because it is supposed to cause high blood pressure, but I have low blood pressure. So, like, I think it equals it out actually. Lumi, hello. New Batman villain, the Riddler. So that's why my week was so exciting as well. Like, you know, it's kind of a bummer that I wasn't able to finish the tattoo all in one session, but I'm just gonna go back next month and get it filled in. Get her done. We're gonna get her done. If you're in here and you're ready to hang out for a little bit before we start talking about the news, hit the like button. If you're gonna leave because you don't want to hang out before we talk about the news, hit the like button before you go. See you later, babe. Yeah, like insofar as meditating is a type of mindfulness, I totally understand the utility of it. The diddler. I diddle for good. I diddle for evil. What's up, Cookie? Welcome in. Thank you for liking on YouTube. Yes, exactly. That's the way to go. What has everybody else been doing this week? Anybody done anything exciting? I'd suggest numbing cream. Can I just get a hold of that casually? Cool, I'm just trying to breathe my saliva. No worries. Okay, yes, in the UK you can get a hold of it easily. I mean, like, I know that you can get lidocaine topical, but I just don't know if it is prescription only or... Yeah, I'm not sure. My well pump died again. Oh no. That sounds really expensive and difficult. Numbing cream isn't recommended in the US. I mean, I know that it's still doable. Like, I've even heard tattooists, like, talking about it casually with their clients. So, it's, like, definitely an option. I just don't know how to get a hold of it. I have to Google it. Oh, you don't want topical substances going into the wound. That's a good point. I think that is a very good point. I'm not making an official endorsement either way. Also restricts blood flow. Wouldn't that only make a difference? I mean, isn't that what you want? Like during, like the reason that I didn't take my Ritalin before was because I was like, oh, it supposedly sometimes can give you high blood pressure, which can make the wound bleed more, which makes things difficult for your artist sometimes. So I was like, okay, well, that's why I'm not going to take it. But I ended up having the opposite problem. So it's like I would assume though that like having less blood flow during the thing would be better. Jackie, thank you for the $1 super chat. Getting us started with a little notch on the dono bar. Thank you, thank you. About a $200 replacement for the well pump. Luckily, we bought the 2-year warranty, so just gonna have to wait a week probably. However, gonna have to spend like $100 or more for a water delivery because the baby's coming any day. Yeah, ooh, that is rough. Ugh, bad timing. I hope like maybe your baby is just gonna be like a little bit of a long cook. Maybe you'll get an extra like week past the due date, you know?
Oh, yeah.
But anyway, yeah. Lidocaine may or may not be an option, and I think, I don't know, even if it is, maybe that's not the right course of action. The next time I go, it's just going to be like filling in a big chunk of color, basically. And they use if you don't know how tattoo guns work, well, I've been watching slow motion videos. Um, it's like a vibrating thing in their hand that is like the needles are like like stabbing into your skin a little bit. Not very far into your skin, but they do stab into your skin a little bit. And it basically like I think that they have like fewer needles in there, or even only one needle in there if you're getting just the line work done. And then when you go in and get shading done or go in and get, color filled in, they use a needle, they use a like tattoo gun thing that has, it's like a cluster of needles or maybe like a line of needles like this, and they all go at the same time. There was a $10 dono at the end of last stream, I think it was. Correct me if I'm wrong, Curious Cookie. But that $10 dono was at the end of last stream, right? Yeah. Max says, I had a woodshop teacher who had a tattoo he did with a friend using sewing needles and pen ink when he was 15. People are determined, you know? So I'm kind of hoping, I guess, that first of all, that I'll be able to, talk to my therapist about strategies for coping and do exposure therapy and try to remember okay, this is what it feels like. It didn't harm me. I'm watching it happen, on a video or something. And this is how I'm trying to get my brain right. Because I didn't have this issue the last couple of tattoos that I got. I mean, there were I did get sick a little bit at one point. My most recent one, 2 years ago, 3 years ago. But yeah, it just was a little bit weird this time. So I'm trying to mentally get in that zone. With the numbing cream, you can get a high quality one. You put it on 1 or 2 hours before the tattoo session and you let the layer soak in. Then when you get there, they wipe you clean before you start the tattoo anyway. Oh, that's interesting. Signature tattoo numbing cream. Interesting. I would almost rather get it from pharmacy, but excuse me. Well, I'll keep this tab open and look at it later. Appreciate the recommendations, y'all. If it would make it even just a little bit less numb. I have a friend that uses those, and he can sit for 6 hours because it is pain-free for the first 3 hours. Okay. Love talking about tats. Can't wait to get till mid-June till I get my next. Yeah, it's going to be in June when I get this baby finished and filled in. And I'm sure that I will do the same thing that I did this time, which is take and post pictures while it is still actively inflamed. I get sleepy because I'm ADHD, and sometimes the artist gets weird if you fall asleep because they think that you're passing out from shock. I have at least one friend who just falls asleep for all of their tattoos. I don't understand it. Actively inflamed tat pics are the best, though. All the detail is really, it's all raised up off the skin. It gives us a little emphasis. What's up, Padfoot Sam? Yeah, I cannot imagine falling asleep during a tattoo. I mean, I would love to get to that point. If I got to the point where I was so relaxed by a tattoo that I just fell asleep instead of whatever it was that happened last time, oh boy. But they're fun, and it's nice to be able to be okay, every once in a while, get a little bit of a treat for yourself Doesn't have to be crazy expensive, but you don't have to limit yourself to only super cheap stuff either. That would be very weird. Some people goon, I'm just going to say goon, from getting tattooed. I know that that's not technically what that word means, but um, yeah, that's got to be very weird for the artist. I'm assuming that if you're the kind of person who has that response, that you have figured out how to keep it on lock, or you only go to artists who are like, I don't care. I don't know. That is kind of weird, though. Quite strange. Ooh, it's good to have a job interview. I understand being nervous about potentially working a real job again, though. Like, I can definitely see how that would be troublesome. But, you know, at a grocery store bakery, I feel like that's a pretty low customer contact situation. Hat off to you, wouldn't dare to get tattooed. Yeah, I got my first one when I was 21, and now I have 5. And, well, I guess I kind of have 4.5, because the 5th one is not finished. But, yeah, I mean, it doesn't feel great. The orgasming ones definitely should not go to the naked tattoo day. My old shop did those where artists and canvases were naked and there was like a discount. It was a hilarious day. Interesting. I only have one because it takes me forever to settle on a design. Yeah, like 15 years to settle on a design for your first one. I mean, here's the thing. It took me a while to decide on what I wanted my first tattoo to be, and now I want to get it covered up. I do. I kind of want to, like, the next time I'm in there, I kind of want to ask, like, what is the cover up process like? Like, what is the design portion of that like? I'm not totally clear on what I would want to have over the. It's like, so my first tattoo, and I want to get rid of it. And it's like, that's fine. I'm not like upset by it. I just am different than I was then. You can get cover ups, it's not a big deal. I'm just hoping that the job doesn't wreck my workout schedule. Oh my god. True. How long did it take you to decide on your first? I don't remember. That is a level of detail. I mean, I always think about these things for quite a while, so it was probably like a couple of years. But my first tattoo was also super duper simple. It's related to being trans, and like, it's like the equivalent of if you got your pronouns tattooed on you. You know what I mean? And I'm just like past that point in my life where I need to have that on me. And I'd rather have like something cooler. What's up, Jules? Like, I get it. Like, a tattoo is a permanent decision, but I think I just treat it with like, I mean, I think about it for a few years typically. So long enough that I'm like, I'm thinking about it enough that it's like, it's weird that it's not there, you know? So, you know, I'm pretty good at avoiding making decisions that I regret long term. I have a rainbow sloth on my wrist hanging from my tendon. Wow. That sounds adorable. I don't know. I maybe shouldn't have done because I had like a tattoo on Thursday, but like on Wednesday, I went and like did heavy upper arms stuff working out. And I'm like pretty excited to be able to go back to doing that. I was planning on doing legs on Thursday, and then I was like, wait, I probably shouldn't do a workout before my tattoo. So I didn't do that. And I'm actually not even sure. I'm like, do I think that I should wait a couple of extra days before I head back to the gym? Because gyms are gross places. But yeah, I'll have to decide that tonight and tomorrow morning. I've been tempted to go to the rich parts of town open grinder and look for a sugar daddy. Listen, whatever works. In this economy, are you kidding? That's the dream, right? I think like the dream is to be able to do some relatively easy form of sex work or like something that isn't even quite sex work, like being hired for dates or being hired for cuddles, you know? Or posting feet pics or, you know, something else that feels like it would be relatively easy compared to a lot of other jobs. If you cover your tattoo in a bandage or something, it should be fine. I think I'm not. He said not to cover it back up. But maybe that was just the first day, because it'll take a bunch of ink out of it if you cover it up on that first day. Being hired for cuddles sounds fun. It does not sound fun to me at all, but I'm sure that for someone out there it would be good. Yeah. Cuddles sustain me. True, hive sigh. But like, cuddles with my person, not cuddles with any random person who wants to pay for them. You know what I mean? That's me being demisexual though, and like probably like demi-romantic probably also. I'm just like, no, don't touch me, please. 49 viewers, 37 likes. If you hit the like button, you'll immediately help send the stream to more people. Jackie, thank you so much for the $5 dono over there on the YouTube chat. People used to ask me if my tattoos hurt all the time, especially in regards to my throat tat. I casually said, sorta, and suggested that they should try to get one. Yeah. They do always have a sensation. I don't think that there's any point at which they don't have at least some sensation, but some people, I guess, don't really process it as pain so much. Got a tattoo from Samurai Jack. Aku from Samurai Jack. Listen, I'm always happy to do collabs. I'm really bad at it. I never know what I want to talk about with people. I don't make like scripted videos, so I can't contact people and ask them, "Hey, can you give me a soundbite of you saying this quote?" You know, we don't ever have things like that on my show. So, but if people want to invite me on their shows, oh man, I'm so into it. Coffee is delicious, as per usual. I'm really glad that I have no idea what's going on with this Drake versus Kendrick situation. Like, just doesn't. I just. I just feel like it's blissful ignorance, not knowing what's going on over there. Let's see. I don't have a solid list of things that I'm planning on talking about today. We do have. There's a video of a trans woman being like bothered and recorded by a cis woman in a bathroom, and she handled it really well. But I figured we could go ahead and cover that as one of our little segments today. Let's see what else we got. I don't know if it's... haven't decided if it's worth reporting on exactly, but in Utah, they recently passed like a bathroom ban, you know? And then they opened a like a web page where you can report a trans person in the bathroom, you know? And a bunch of people posted like the entire script to the B movie and various other things like that, which they've probably shut down the website now. I'm not sure if that is the most recent update, but definitely kind of amusing, if nothing else. Oh gosh, my eyeball. Yeah, the snitch form, exactly. Yes. Yep, B-movie script coming in clutch. Okay. Ooh, you know what else? Water. I keep drinking coffee, and coffee's delicious, but water's the best. Hail hydrate. And then, let's see, do I have any other news? I think, oh yeah, so of course there's the EL0N thing. Of course there's that. Remember though, if you submit tips that seem real, they will waste far more time and resources on it. That I think is also a fair criticism. Like, you know, there's trying to shut down the website is one goal, but like trying to actually like waste more of their time, I guess it's like a slightly different goal. Like trying to get them to spend more money and stuff. Okay, I'm seeing if there's anything else that oh yeah. Yeah, so obviously I'm just discussing the topics right now. I'm not like getting into each topic, but apparently the NHS in England is basically saying if you are receiving trans-related healthcare outside the NHS, you need to tell us that, and then they might be insisting that the kids stop taking that care, or that there might be like safeguarding, which means getting social workers and other state apparatus involved in what's going on in your family and potentially basically like trying to get you off of the healthcare that you're receiving privately. So we've definitely got several different things that we can talk about today. No shortage of things to talk about. Kansas gender affirming care veto. We did talk about that last time. I just haven't, the video is going to get uploaded this week. Did not get uploaded last week. It's going to come up this week. Always good. Although they're going to keep trying stuff, and like, it doesn't change the fact that other anti-trans laws have passed here and that they're being sustained by the courts. It's, you know, quite difficult at the moment. Living in a red state. it's a trip, I'll tell you. Can't wait to not be dealing with all of that. Yeah, I mean, in this one instance, like, this lady still wants to prevent youth from having the option to get surgery, which, like, if you are being approved for surgery at that age, it's because you're pretty suicidal. So, like, trying to deny them life-saving care, I think, is still shitty. But, you know, in realizing, in this, you know, this one Republican woman realized that this law is written very broadly in such a way that it will harm their ability to get hormones and puberty blockers even. You know, that's not a good thing. Cosmic Cryptid, thank you so much for your $5 super chat. Appreciate that. Just so y'all know, YouTube does take a pretty sizable chunk of the donations on YouTube chat. So if you want me to... Oh, and also it doesn't come through until next month. Because it gets added to this month's AdSense. Anyway, so if you want to donate more immediately, then feel free to come over to the website. How big is that mug? I have never measured how many ounces it is, but here it is next to my face. It's pretty big. YouTube tax, yeah. Yeah, the 30 to 40% that YouTube keeps of your donations. Pretty ridiculous. Might be 3 or 4 cups. No, it is like at maximum 2 cups of water. Like about 250 mil, I think. Oh gosh. So much weird news. Weird news all the time. Oh, and it was Cosmic Cryptid's first super. Awesome. Or am I thinking, is 250 mil the equivalent of like 8 ounces? Because I was thinking double that. I might have been thinking of the wrong... I have 2 measuring cups. One of them is smaller than the other. Xipation, I think. Xipation. I can't remember how to spell yours. Xipation is what I want to say. Thank you for the tier 1 sub. Enjoy your dicks and various other emojis. Yes, cool name. Very appreciated. Boop, boop. Number go up. Yay. 240 mil is 8 ounce. Okay, so this like, at maximum, this is like 16 ounces. At the most. And I don't even think it's that big. Probably more like 14. Is there any way I can sign into the website chat without OAuth? However it works is however it works. I have no control over it. Perhaps Lux is just small. I am a little bit small. Not a lot. Lumi says no, you cannot sign into the website without OAuth. Why are there... Yeah, why is an Imperial cup the different than a US cup? Ridiculous. It would be great to use metric. I'm trying in some ways to use metric. I mean, it's better for baking anyway. Just using grams. Trying to compare those two. I keep thinking of meters versus yards. I think meters are a little bit shorter than yards. Because I'm doing archery now. And so it's like often measured in yards. But then some people are talking about it in meters. And it's like, oh, yards are shorter. Really? I thought it was the other way around. Just goes to show how trustworthy I am. What the heck is a stone? The British are even weirder. Yeah, what is a stone? I thought a stone, what does it end up being? Like kind of close to 20 pounds? Or 20 kilos? Archery is fun. A stone is 13 pounds. 7 kilos. Okay. Okay, meters are longer. Because, yeah, 3 feet is a yard. Any fun plans coming up this week? Any fun news that we're expecting this week? I guess for me, it's just going to be like another normal week. Just trying to, chug along, get some work done. When I was in school, from 1st through 5th grade, we were taught metric as well as imperial, but then they stopped teaching it at all, which was followed by me needing to know metric in chemistry class, and then having all running counted in meters for some reason. It's annoying. A quote normal week is kind of horrifying, TBH. Yeah, I mean, true. I'm trying to figure out ways that I can minimize my stress. So I'm like figuring out, workarounds to try to minimize how much time I end up ultimately spending editing. And I'm taking a lot less time on Twitter. The horrors are never ending there. If I really want to expose myself to horrors, it doesn't take very long. My number one tip to avoid stress is don't have kids, because I have two. Well, sometimes you can't avoid it. Things happen sometimes. I was a swim coach and had to know how to do conversion for junior Olympic qualifications. I have only one kid and it's me. Oh boy. It does feel that way sometimes. Like, I don't know. I guess like the last couple of years, it feels less like that. Like I'm starting to feel like, oh, I do kind of just exist in the world with other adults as equals. For a long time, I kind of just felt like a kid still. I don't know, like that I wasn't an equal with other people. But now I'm like, yeah, it's just a little bit more comfortable. I'm Gen X, which means I have and will always feel 28. Stuck at 28 is not a bad age. Yeah, the joys of reaching 30. I've heard that a lot of people with ADHD in particular, like, start to feel like their brains settle down and finish cooking at around age 30. So, could be. Could be. Oh yeah, there's always the knees and the back. My knees haven't started to get me yet. My back has been sore for a while, but I'm trying to strengthen it specifically so that I'll have a better time. Gotta keep yourself limber with some dynamic stretching. Ooh, blowing out both knees by age 19. What were you doing? Were you in sports? My brain is still simmering at 36. Neuroplasticity is amazing. I don't think anybody ever feels like they're totally finished. I feel like a lot of the chaos and stuff is gone, but I'm sure that I'm gonna keep changing. What's up, heathen granny? We're just chilling for now. We will be talking about the news in a bit. I'm trying to decide really how many segments I actually want to do today. Because I have several kind of backed up from last week. "69 segments." That sounds like hell. I would definitely need to hire an editor or two if I wanted to do that many segments. I don't even know what the point would be of doing that many segments. I also can't believe that I forgot to take a picture of my garden before I left the last time I was out there. Ugh. Too bad. I'll be out there again soon, I'm sure. and then I'll take a picture and post it on Patreon for you wonderful folks over there. I'm having my blood drained, so forgive how bad my jokes are today. No excuse. If anything, the loopiness of donating plasma should make you even more funny. No excuses. Gotta shape up. Frog Toad, welcome to the website. Yeah, for any of you who don't know, over on the YouTube chat, hello, we have a website, luxander.net, and you can go to luxander.net/live to join us on the on-screen chat. Some people look at this and they think, oh, this has to be like Twitch. It is not Twitch. It is my website. Custom emojis, fun colors if you want to give me a website subscription. I've been protesting, and goodness, it's been exhausting fighting for human rights. Yeah, even just watching it from the sidelines has been pretty exhausting. The coverage has been pretty wild of all these different... I mean, there are so many different colleges across the everywhere that are having these encampments, and it's just like the response, the super disproportionate response is really disheartening. You know, I'm not gonna lie. I'm not gonna pretend like it isn't really sad in a way that, like, you know, I've been seeing these images of what's happening in, you know, Gaza for the past 6 months, more, 7, 8 months. It's been a long time. And like, obviously that's been really difficult to watch. And then seeing people deny that, or seeing people say, oh, well, you're being selectively upset. You're not upset about these other things. Like, you know, and all of the implication there is that, like, because Hamas allegedly did some things, then that means that, like, hundreds of thousands of Palestinian children deserve to be killed or maimed. Like, the math is not mathing. Also seeing baselessly totally wild accusations of anti-Semitism right next to blatant actual anti-Semitism has to be the worst kind of trip. Yeah, or has been the worst kind of trip. It is. At least there were no fatalities, though. So far, I don't think there have been any fatalities. students were cheering the protesters who interrupted their graduation. Right, yeah, exactly. That's what I'm saying. Like, it just feels inevitable. Oh, Zypation is Kitty Tick's wife. Oh yeah, I must have known that in the past and then forgot. I am optimistic about the long-term effects of the protests. I think it almost immediately shifted some policy with them removing some units and delaying the invasion. But they didn't they approve an aid package, like, very recently? So it's just, it doesn't feel like it's going to make much of a difference. I mean, I think the thing that it's going to help with the most is showing people how fucking pointless doing anything within the system is. Like, the fact that we are supposed to have the right to protest, but, like, students who are protesting on the free speech public part of their university campus are, like, having the camp swept by cops, or having the cops stand by idly while Zionists come in and start kicking over their shit and being violent toward them. But I don't know. You know, we've been through this song and dance before, and things haven't significantly changed, so we'll see. That crowd of pro-Israel white students who made monkey sounds at a black woman. I did hear about that. People were blocking the road by my work. I work on the edge of an Air Force base. Yeah, it's gonna happen. I mean, y'all, we have already had like deaths at protests in the past 5 years. Like Heather Heyer, can't ever remember how to pronounce that last name. And there was a non-binary person named Summer, I want to say, who died a similar situation, being struck by a car, but that was probably not intentional or related to the protest. But yeah, I mean, it's like already happened. Also been seeing peaceful pro-Palestine people get harassed by Zionists. Of course, yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, the police are just letting them harass or rough up these protesters. Summer Taylor, yeah. So, yeah, part of the reason why I haven't really been covering that stuff in depth as much the last week or two is because, like, what am I gonna say? You know, when we have, like, the most specific one recently was, like, violence and militarism against campuses is increasing. Meanwhile, we've just discovered evidence of mass graves, right, in Gaza. So, like, there's nothing really new for me to add. It doesn't do very well on the channel, and it's, like, nothing has made me feel more powerless than watching my government contribute to this, and knowing that most people aren't okay with it, or that most people wouldn't be okay with it if they knew what was going on, and to have tons of people out here protesting and trying to throw a wrench in the gears and say, hey, pay attention to me, hey, pay attention to me, hey, pay attention to me. Like, we don't get a vote. We don't get a vote in these things. They, like, the two governances that we had the ability to choose from would have basically done the same thing. Trump, at least, is aware that it's bad optics, I will say. Like, at the very least, Trump, you know, he says things like Netanyahu just needs to end this quickly. And what he means is, like, you know, do the extermination quickly, but do it more quietly, like, as well. Just get it done so that we can move on. Like, this is taking too long. The bad optics of this are dragging out too long. So, but they would both be supporting this action, basically. Both still sending money and all that. So, we don't really get to say what happens with this. The biggest worry, yeah, for sure. I agree that that's a huge concern. The normalization in supposed liberal media of police violently breaking up nonviolent protests. It's called a police riot. When police instigate violence during protests and they start kettling and spraying and beating up and arresting protesters who are just peacefully saying what they need to say, like, that's called a police riot. And I saw hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of examples of it during the George Floyd protests. And it would not surprise me at all to find out that that is also the majority of what we're seeing now with these student protests. Like, it's either the police starting it or the police standing aside and letting Zionists start it. Yeah, true. Because, yeah, when the Zionists start using violence on college campuses, that does give the authorities to, like, the excuse to break it up. But not until after the Zionists have had their turn. Because I've seen, like, okay, there's this heavily militarized police presence, right? And then, but at the same time, I'm seeing images of Zionists causing problems and there's not a cop in sight. Like, are you kidding? That it has to be deliberate. And the reason is because they're the same people. Like, white supremacists are cops. Zionists are cops. They want the world to be hostile and violent toward brown people and Muslims. So there's just, I just don't have anything new to say about this. It's just a huge fucking bummer. At UCLA last week, LASD watched middle-aged white guys walk up with 2x4s and begin beating up protesters. That's what I'm saying, like, we're catching it on camera. We can see it. And the college administrators, you know, having a rule that says no tents except for recreational tents, those are fine. And then they just quietly amend, like without telling anybody, they update the policy to remove that except for recreational tents part. And then they will weaponize the local police to kick you out of there. In 2 days, it's going to be 7 months of all this. Yeah, it's wild. Yeah, and Ukraine has been going on for like 3 years. Like, why? Why are we still doing this? It's so frustrating. Like, I recently watched through the whole world history playlist on Crash Course, if you're familiar. John Green leads this one, and it's like, it's weird when you start getting to the last 1,000 years or so, last couple hundred years especially, because you can see like how all this stuff that has happened in the past is related to stuff that's happening now, and go, okay, so there's been all this like conflict over who gets to be where in this region, and it's like it's ongoing still. Like, have we not, as a global economy, like moved past the need for wars? But then you've got like just, I guess, certain political leaders with certain political interests, effectively, and they just have the ability to fuck shit up. And there's like a limited ability to retaliate against them. It's pretty obnoxious. Like, it's pretty obnoxious. Israel's like a baby that the US gives whatever it wants when they act like a spoiled brat. I mean, fair. I know, honestly, war is economically efficient under capitalism. That's probably like a main part of it. Oil, yeah, oil. These various moneyed interests. Yeah, doing violent things that they could avoid because it's profitable, ultimately. Love selling guns and supplies. True. I love selling comfortable hoodies. Tasteless plug. Public sentiment has risen sharply since the protests, though, right? I don't actually know. Like, I don't know. Again, I'm getting... yeah, I'm selling tasteless plugs. I'm getting all my news off of Twitter. Most people don't do that. Like, the majority of people are not on Twitter, so how can they even know what's happening? Part of the reason why I feel so strongly as I do, like, really, like, I think that Israel sucks and that it's debatable whether it should exist, and that they do unmentionable harms to people. Like, it's so obvious. Like, it's a joke. It's a long-standing joke that, oh, you got to be careful what you say about Israel-Palestine. Oh, it's a difficult issue. Oh, both sides. But I don't feel that way. Now that I know, like, the tiniest bit of anything about it, I don't feel that way. So it seems like most people must not know, or they wouldn't feel that way. But then, again, you do have people who are just straight up like, I don't care about this. Like, oh, you're doing whataboutism, or like, yes, they're Muslims, so they shouldn't breathe still, you know? Like, there are people who do seem to genuinely believe that it's a good thing for this to be happening. Although I would say that that's probably a minority still. Probably most people just don't know. Or they think, oh, it couldn't be that bad. Oh, they must be exaggerating. I'm not sure what the calendar incident is. Yeah, sure, the history of the region is complex, but the current situation is not very complex because it is genocide. No Germans were ever prosecuted for crimes against German Jews after World War II? Really? Trump Jr. was out there talking about real estate development in Gaza after the Palestinians are removed in the future. The worst thing that could happen for the US and the world would be Trump getting a second term now. Biden is problematic, but Trump is 100 times more so. Yeah, I mean, I'm not disagreeing. Like, again, you know, like I said, Trump is also going to be like, yeah, you just need to do this. You need to end it quickly. Not saying you should do a ceasefire, but that you should kill them all faster and with less spectacle. But, you know, they both still support it. It's just like how fervently do they support it, I guess. Oh, wow, I hadn't heard that. Mama says the calendar incident is when they invaded Al Shifa Hospital and said that the days of the week on a calendar were a shift schedule for Hamas guards. Yeah, wasn't Al Shifa like the last hospital in Gaza? Like there are no universities in Gaza, and I think that there are now no hospitals in Gaza. If there was any other reason for Israel's existence other than so many Christian religions being apocalypse cults, I would be willing to discuss it. Fair enough. At this point, 0% of people defending it, other than Zionist Jews, are Christians praying for Jesus to burn the world to the ground. Did you mean 100% of people? Ow. My leg randomly has a cramp. Ugh. So, yeah, it's really tough. Did anyone see that tweet asking if the students protesting wanted to do an exchange program with Gaza? I think I did. Because, yeah, I saw some people responding to it going like, there are 0 universities left. The death toll in Gaza has been stuck at like 30,000 for a couple of months because there's no infrastructure left to count. Yep, it's not like the deaths are slowing, not by a long shot. There's just no one left to report them. I agree. That is kind of backwards, right? These conservatives and Zionists being like, well, why don't you go to Gaza? But we're not the ones saying everything is fine there. Like, yeah, why are you trying to tell me to go to somewhere where I am saying that there's a genocide? You're the one who thinks everything is hunky-dory there. But ultimately, it's just, they just want you out of their face. They want you out of their hair. They want you out of their communities. I just don't understand. I mean, I do kind of understand to an extent, but I don't get it. Why water gotta be so heavy? I know, why can't you just buy dehydrated water? Wouldn't that be wonderful? Hello, what did I miss? What's up, Wendrick? We are chilling. Well, we were kind of chilling. Now we're talking about Gaza, but we're not doing any official segments yet. We're just kind of flowing. Conversations flowing. People are hitting the like button because there are 20 more people in here than there are likes on the video. Excuse me. We're satting. I would need water to hydrate it. Cringe. First world problems. I know. It's all relative, you know? Like, I'm like, yeah, everything that's happening in Gaza is happening over there and it's bad. Like, real big bad time. Like, one of the worst things that could be possibly happening on the planet is happening there, you know? And I'm still, like, upset that I didn't lose as much body fat as I was hoping to during my cut. But I was doing it for a long time and now I'm bored, so I'm going to switch back to a lean bulk and hopefully do some body recomposition. But like, yeah, so obviously I still am dealing with my shit and it feels petty and stupid, but it is my life. Like, I'm trying to fucking live it. So we've all got to do what we can within the sphere that we were born. The curse of being an American, yeah. Like, horrible things are happening geopolitically across the world, many of them because of the country, like, just that I live in, you know, the government that's supposed to be representing me doing terrible things. And sometimes you just gotta check out mentally and focus on other stuff. Can't you just turn fat into muscle? It's difficult to do, apparently. Like, you can, but it is just a little bit less efficient than either focusing on bulking. Because in order to put on muscle weight, you do have to have, like, a little bit more, you're supposed to have, like, a little bit more calories. So you have to, like, convince your body to consume some of the fat, but it's like, it's just apparently easier to be like, okay, let's do all consuming fat or building muscle, because building muscle, you usually put on a little bit of fat. I'm on a cut. Well, actually, I'm poor, so I'm giving plasma and can't afford snacks, but I'm gonna go ahead and call that a cut. Fair. Honestly, I think it might be time to leave. I still think that being in a sanctuary state in the US is probably better than going to any other country right now. Because these other countries that you're going to go to for, you know, oh, you hope it's good for trans people. Well, a lot of these countries have national healthcare systems, and you'll have to go through their fucking really long process and risk the possibility that their governments will continue, like, just deciding that this is not medically necessary care, the way that the UK is going with it. So you risk, like, losing access to your medicine in a way. So that's just my personal opinion. Humans are, compared to other animals, absurdly good at losing muscle when at a calorie deficit. Yeah. So it's, like, hard to preserve your muscle during a cut. The UK is now blocking DIY HRT sites. I wonder if that's mentioned in this article. Because I know that they're cracking down on it and that they're going to start requiring youth to, like, report if they're on trans care privately. Yeah, Like, it's crazy that not only is the NHS like, oh, we've decided that we're not going to cover this anymore, but that they're going to also say, well, we've decided that if you're on it privately, then we're going to start meddling in your personal life. Like, pink triangle laws? What specifically do you mean by that? Like, because I would say that denying people the ability to change their birth certificate is a kind of pink triangle law. But do you mean more like they're going to make you put it on your driver's license? Yeah, mandatory markers on driver's licenses. Because, like, I've always been of the opinion that if you can't change the sex on your birth certificate, which for a long time you couldn't in Kansas, and then you could for a few years, and now you can't again, and your driver's license as well. So, like, even if it is not specifically marking you with a little T, like it's not marking you literally as trans, the fact that it is still marked with your sex at birth. So in a way, like, in parts of the US, we've literally like always had pink triangle laws. When immigrating to the US, I put legally male on all my paperwork, and then out of nowhere the feds call me and go, are you sure you don't want to be a woman? So yeah, I feel a lot better cared for here. Yeah, that is nice. We're going to put X on our baby's birth certificate to solve this. Yeah, and I'm glad that it's an option where y'all live. It's not an option, like, even when you could change the sex on your birth certificate, it was never an option for it to say X in Kansas. Will I cover the UK electoral politics situation? Oh my god, probably not. Just because, like, you guys go through prime ministers real fast, and I kind of can't keep up with what's going on over there. Although I do know that Labor has come out and said, like, we support, you know, separate sex spaces for trans people versus women. Turf Island once again. Yeah. I am trying to keep track of what's going on in all 50 of my states. Labor's gone full transphobic. This does not surprise me. Yeah, the whole separate but equal thing. Room temperature coffee. Sweden sucks, but it did get slightly less hard to change your legal gender. However, still no X option. Yeah, I don't... This is what I mean. Like, I think you have to move to someplace specific where they have all that stuff. We're almost at 69 likes. Oh my god. That's very exciting. I think we're all gonna have to become little accelerationists soon. I don't know that we really need to. What is that beverage contraption? It's a giant drinky thingy. And it has, like, a hole where I could drink out of, or it has a straw. Hey, isn't that convenient? But, yeah, I don't think that we need to become accelerationists, because with the direction that the economy is going, it's all gonna fall apart in, like, 10 years anyway. Maybe more like 20 years. Like, it's pretty bad. So, it just seems like we just have to... I would say let's start working on the part that comes after. Yeah, Somniostatic, if you haven't heard of it before, and I talk about this a lot on my show, so if you're here and you've already heard this, I'm so sorry. The, back in 1972 at MIT, there was a study commissioned which looked at the next like 100, 200 years of what could potentially happen to the economy. And so they created several different predictive models, and their worst case scenario predictive model, which was the parameters of it were like, if we continue to pursue economic growth at the expense of other things, then what's going to happen? So that model predicted that if we continued on that course, and that, you know, causes climate problems, it causes housing crises, it basically is what we are doing now, and that if we continue on this path, then by the year 2040, the economy will stop growing, and shortly after that will collapse. And now that also means that there will be food shortages. It means that by the year 2100, the population of the whole world will probably be back down to what it was in like the 1920s, 1930s, which was only 2 billion. So basically, like, we are on track for global widespread death, famine, disease, like water shortages, really bad shit. So here's what I'm saying. Like, we don't need to become accelerationists. If anything, like, the longer it takes for us to get to that collapse, the better. Because what we need to do, and this is something that I talk about on my show a lot, is we need to start preparing and doing things like trying to build a huge pond system in an area that needs water in the water table, you know, like trying to plant, you know, grasses and other plants that have deep root systems to hold water in the earth. Like, we need to start gardening, find ways to, yeah, exactly, finding ways to grow your own food in small areas. This year is my first year joining a community garden. It was only $25 for the whole fee for the year. And I'm going to be like, the plot that I got myself is not like super huge. I wanted to start sort of small to get used to, you know, what it's going to be like. And that's me practicing for broader scale food production. Now, I don't think that I'm ever going to be at a point where I'm producing all of my food. I think that there's always going to be some amount of food in the grocery store. It's just a matter of how expensive it is and about what's going to be available. If we're having gasoline shortages or population shortages, then how are we going to, you know, if you can't get oranges from Florida, either because it's too hot there or because it flooded and there is no more Florida, or whatever the case may be, how are you going to make sure that you have vitamin C if you live somewhere like Seattle? So that's what my plan is, kind of, is like, whatever. The collapse is going to happen regardless. I don't need to accelerate it. It's just going to keep this direction until it fucks itself, and then a lot of people are going to die. So my goal is to preserve myself and try to, you know, establish relationships with people in my community as much as possible. Not because I want to do any of this shit, but because, like, this is the path that we're on. And it's like, we would need to make some significant changes pretty much immediately. This whole Biden's like, oh, we want to get emissions down to this level by this year. Like, that's not enough. Some people might call this doomerism, but I think it's more like post-doomerism. Yeah, I'm like, the doom is already done. Like, the apocalypse has already happened. Like, I'm living in the future in my mind, where it's like the apocalypse has already happened, or it is happening. Like, there's an inevitability to it. But I'm like, I'm imagining what we live, like how we live afterward. I still have the attachment towards cow milk, but I think I should try others. Um, I just got some oat milk. We're still finishing our last gallon. I'm probably not gonna buy regular milk again for a while because of the bird flu. There's bird flu, and there's fragments of bird flu in the milk that you're getting commercially potentially, and so there is a chance that like you could get it. So let's not play around. So I'm switching to oat milk for the foreseeable future. I've heard that it's very similar in texture to regular milk. One thing I'm glad I'm around for is like it feels like I get to be helpful when we talk about making your own food, food storage, and preservation techniques. Also trying to work on humane husbandry of animals. Yeah. And it's highly valuable to me to be like, okay, we are establishing a community of people who are all aware of this stuff or all working toward the same sort of goals. Oat milk is the best cereal milk. I like hemp heart's milk, but it's hard to find. Weird. Goat's milk is a good one, isn't it? Or does it now have the same risk as cows? Okay, so cows obviously are being kept in these factory conditions where there's a bunch of them really close to each other. So transmission between them is easier, you know? So if you have goat's milk from somewhere where you know for sure that they're not sick, then sure. But like if it's factory produced goat milk, then it's going to be subject to some of the same risks. All these novel flus come from our omnivorism. I still think that if we did the same types of farming but at a smaller scale, then it wouldn't be a big problem. You know, like currently working towards having enough so that we can properly help the community. We really want to become a lifestyle slash art school that gets people taught a few skills and equipped to make money at something. Takes money to help people though. Yeah. I haven't taken any classes yet through them, but I found this group locally that has recently started doing classes. And honestly, I think they really overcharge for the classes, but basically it's like, okay, you're going to go to a place and some dude is going to teach you how to scythe down grass, or we're going to teach you how to can food, or we're going to teach you how to make kombucha. Like you could charge a small amount. Yeah, it's the weird methods that we use. It's a scary thing working out all the systems that have supported you your whole life and how delicate they really are. Yeah, I mean, and it's crazy. The whole, like, this year has been really out of the ordinary climate change wise. Like, this winter was much warmer than was expected, even considering that it's been getting warmer. So, it kind of feels to me like that 2040 number, it could actually be shorter than that. Well, you use a scythe to mow down like grass that you're gonna harvest usually, right? Did you see the fish in Florida freaking out? No, I did not see that. I want to make it a free needs-based scholarship program. Supplies to students will be low cost and can be paid for with products that they sell in the school store or can be paid for by donations. We need to move past wanting money from someone we want to teach something. Well, I'm not saying like you want money from someone to teach them something. It's more like literally like You could even do it more or less at cost, but it still has to cost something, the materials or whatever. And like, yeah, sure, you could work it off by selling stuff that you've made from learning in the class. Like, yeah, sure. But it is still, like, we still live in a situation where we need money for stuff. I live in California and I have no idea what kombucha is, and at this point I'm almost too afraid to ask. I don't know really what kombucha is, except that it's a very low alcohol, what is kombucha? It's a fermented product of some kind. It's known as mushroom tea. It's a fermented drink. Fermented, slightly effervescent, sweetened black tea drink. Juices, spices, fruit, or other flavorings are often added. It's thought to have originated in China. Yeah, it's a fermented drink made with tea, sugar, bacteria, and yeast. It's a good probiotic. I've heard that. Are fermented products in general good for you? Like, if I eat miso, is that going to give me probiotic benefits? Generally, they are probiotic. Well, good, because I like using miso in my cooking. It turns out recently, and that's a thing that you can make from home. Because one of the classes that I saw being offered was learning how to make miso. Thank you all for hanging out with me while we have this conversation, by the way. I'm like, this is the shit that I actually hope spreads. You know, I use the trans issues as a wedge to like get in and have a audience to talk about other stuff. But this is the influence that I want to have. Like, 3 things. I want you to start preparing for the apocalypse. I want you to go to therapy, and I want you to like take care of your health and exercise if you are possibly able to. This is good, fun Sunday morning stuff. Yeah, for sure. And also be a socialist if you don't mind. Yeah, socialist, libertarian, socialist, anarchist, something in this range. Ooh, Lord Byron, gonna try to push my biking trauma a bit this week and see how it goes. Nice. Welcome in. I am also doing some kind of exposure therapy for hopefully the next time I get my tattoo finished, it will not be full of low blood pressure time. The best workout motivation is the threat of fascism. Listen, I want to look big and muscular because I want to look sexy, and I think that that would look appealing, but also, I don't think it hurts to look like I would lay you out if you tried to fuck with me. You know? Like, maybe some violence is just avoidable by looking like someone who you don't want to mess with. I said libertarian socialist because libertarian socialist is kind of the cheeky way of saying anarchist. Yeah, the Antifa super soldier grind. Boo, boo, boo. I'm so glad that I worked out my arms this week, and I'm very excited. You know, I don't even think I can wait. I think I'm gonna just very gently wrap up my tattoo and go to the gym tomorrow and do upper body again because I want to have big arms, big shoulders. Fascists are scared of buff women and queer folks anyway. Buff women, queer folks. Anarchist, but without freaking people out about the whole, like, yeah, burnt cars. They just imagine everything on fire. I say anarchy and people are like, it's chaos in the streets. Like, oh my god. That's what the dono goal is every time. Like, we hit the dono goal on Wednesday last week, which was fortunate because I was like, this is a good benchmark bulk leg time because I'm just about to start a bulk. So over the next couple of weeks, as we get more donations, if we hit the donation goal, You'll get to see the progress. I know for a fact I recently paid for a sub LMAO. I don't know what happened to it. When I hear anarchy, I think of gardens in the streets. Yeah. Imagine how much space we would have for gardens and for animals to free roam if we just didn't have as many parking lots, you know? Anarchist solar punk future. I feel like someone explained to me what solar punk means, and I am not sure exactly what it means. Community chicken coops. True. I do not want... Like, I will have my own chickens, but I don't want to have my own chickens. I know. Just one more lane, bro. I promise. Just one more lane for the cars. That'll solve all the traffic problems. Just one more lane, bro. Oh, gosh. Just one more lane, bro. Sleepy boy. It's Sunday. I didn't take Ritalin this morning, so the tired starts to hit in the mid-afternoon. Okay. So we're gonna meme on EL0N a little bit. And let's see. Let's decide what we're talking about today. Solar punk is what we imagine the future to look like if it was eco-friendly. Like, I'm assuming solar punk is like, we do things in an eco-friendly way, but we still have the internet, right? We should do a prepper network to learn from each other. So in my Discord server, we do have a channel in there called like Homestead and Practical Crafts or some shit like that. And it is like a place for us to post stuff about gardening and whatever else is related to that. Like, I think, you know, even technically sewing and stuff about animal care and things like this. Those can all kind of fit in that section of the Discord. Okay, yes, so we are memeing on EL0N and JK Rowling. There's this lovely trans woman who got filmed in a bathroom. Like, why are y'all being so creepy and filming people in bathrooms? Utah snitch line. All I've heard about a post-climate apocalypse is using ham radio protocols. I'm not familiar with them. Maybe I should familiarize myself with them. Dabbing on the haters. I don't dab out of hatred, okay? I only dab in celebration, which is something that I just noticed. Like, I only dab in celebration. Exactly. Filming in bathrooms because trans women are predators. Yep. It was a misdemeanor. Was it Libs of TikTok? I thought it was a different person. It didn't sound like Kaya. But yeah, it's like a misdemeanor in the state of North Carolina to film someone in a restroom without consent. Sometimes when I have to use the ladies' room in public, I will literally text a friend first so they can do a wellness check on me after. Man, that's so tough. I think she reposted it. Okay, fair enough. Dabbing for the love that the haters lost. Suckers. Man. I hope that my little community garden is so happy right now. I planted seeds inside my house, and you can look on Patreon. I think that some of them are even public on Patreon and not behind the paywall. But, like, I planted seeds back in fucking March, I think. And the plants were, like, struggling a little bit indoors, so I put them outside in the community garden now, and, like, I hope that they're doing well. Oh. They haven't been outside until this weekend, basically, so... Hey, Lord Varen, your sub is fixed. Thank you, Lumi. Seed maxing, true. So yeah, when I put everything in the garden, there were some donated plants, like some plants that had already been started at a different garden that they were like, oh, these are donations, basically, if anybody wants them. So I took some sage, dill, oregano, and I can't remember what the fourth thing was. Sage, dill, oregano, and thyme. And then I planted my cherry tomatoes, full-size tomatoes, basil. I planted some calendula seeds, and I planted some carrot seeds. So yes, fresh spices. I know! Isn't that so cool? So they might die. Like, they might all die. I don't know. But we're gonna try our darndest. Fresh basil is like tops. I know. And if I end up having too much of it, then I can always make pesto. Delicious. So you gotta grow things that you want to eat. Like, because A, otherwise you won't eat it, but B, also because, like, if you don't have spices, you will probably not enjoy yourself. If the shipping is not here, like, you can't buy saffron, let's say, or you can't buy cinnamon, let's say. Like, how are you gonna get a hold of spices? You're gonna have to grow them. You're gonna have to get them local. So, yeah, I'm growing some food and some spices. Especially because, ooh, I actually have one pepper plant, too, that I got that one as one of the donated ones. It is very easy to get a shitload of basil from one plant. They haven't been doing very well, so I don't know. Hopefully being outside and, like, getting better light and stuff will help them. Jackie, thank you so much for another $5 super chat. I know EL0N has a trans daughter, and I think I heard that his wife is with a trans woman. So it's his ex-wife. They're not married anymore, I don't think. But, yeah, allegedly Grimes was with Chelsea Manning. I don't know if they still are together, but that allegedly was going on for a while. Recurring subs have been a bit wonky lately. Yeah, they do tend to be a little bit silly. Okay, so yeah, this thing about the UK saying, yo, we're basically going to detransition all of the youth in our country. That's a big deal. We're going to talk about that. EL0N being hilarious. Also worth talking about. Excuse me. Yeah, gotta love when the place you live in says there are no trans people here. YouTube wouldn't let me say ex-wife. Oh, that's weird. So I think maybe those 3 stories, like Elon being funny with the telling J.K. Rowling to chill the fuck out a little bit. That's pretty funny. Whoa, nope, not what I wanted.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, and then... Okay, so yeah, Elon, UK thing, kombucha, and then, yeah, this trans woman being accosted in the bathroom. Okay, that's 3 segments. That's 3 stories. The UK shows just how bad things can get with 15 plus years of continuous conservative governments. I mean, yeah, like, it's pretty frustrating. But it's cool. When you start to feel yourself getting a headache because of all the nonsense that you have to deal with all the time, just, you know, give yourself a little scalp massage. Just kind of like work it in there a little bit, you know? If your jaw is getting sore, maybe, you know, give your face a little bit of a massage and your muscles there. It feels nice, it's relaxing, and you deserve it. Ah! I'm convinced Elon is actually a tiny guy with a big head in a big human suit he drives around. No, I think that I think that's all him. I think that's all him. Rip in pieces. I should pay for regular massages. I know, I'm honestly, as someone who has like widespread musculoskeletal pain, I do wonder if I should like at least get like a baseball that I can roll around on the floor to like work out the knots in my back. Or is that what the foam rollers are for? The foam rollers for rolling out your back? Is that kind of what that's for? Because I don't want to pay for or ask for massages that frequently. What's up, Freya, in the YouTube chat? Hello! Things are going pretty okay. Those of you over there in the YouTube chat, if you didn't know, you can always come over to the website chat. It's luxander.net/live. You can donate directly through there, get a fun color name, get access to the exclusive emojis. None of those exclusive emojis are on YouTube at all. And then you can also click the link in the description to look for the merch. This comfy merch. Toe massages are weird. Yeah. I think a foot massage is the kind of thing that I would only want from someone who I'm very close to. Like, I don't want a stranger touching my feet, for sure. That's not a thing that I want to do. Oh, gosh. Well, what should we talk about first? We've got these 3 different stories. Got Elon Musk being hilarious. I'm not going to talk about the Utah snitch form, I don't think, because it feels like it's already over and done with. Trans woman being bothered in the bathroom. Don't tell RGR. Oh my god, I can't believe that she's entering the space again. Like, it's so embarrassing that she's streaming again. She at least did fucking wait a year and a half. 2 years? Yeah, I saw that she was streaming again. And she's coordinating with Progressive Victory. I don't know if any of you are familiar with Progressive Victory, but they're trying to like get more people on board voting for progressive candidates. And they hired RGR recently to be their streaming coordinator. Yeah, the streaming media coordinator. Like, she doesn't just go around being annoying. She goes around collapsing progressive organizations that she joins because she joins them and then infiltrates the board and then starts consolidating power. Like, I'm not even joking. I wish I could remember the name of the organization that she did that with, but it's been a minute. And I guess I didn't save the link to it. I'm like really disappointed in myself. It's also getting kind of wild how many PV collaborators are pro-Israel shills. Yeah, and that PV's official position is like, we're not gonna talk about any foreign policy. We're focusing only on domestic issues. Like, okay, cool. It's not like a pretty major draw of the Democratic, like, institution that you're supposed to be able to have an impact on. Like, yeah, that... Oh, and actually that's a lie because they've posted stuff about Ukraine. Yeah, but those are white people. That's the difference, Gayfesh. They'll post in defense of Ukraine because those people are white. That's so embarrassing. That's so embarrassing. I didn't even know that. Like, I didn't know that they had posted stuff about Ukraine. If that Doe debate was part of my public presence, I don't know that I could stand to put myself in any forward-facing position in a public organization. Yeah, that this is the thing that you are most known for in this space. It's not like Aaron Green, who's the one who had like pedo accusations against her. She has at least figured out that she needs to build her audience in a separate space to some extent. But here RGR is coming right back. I didn't even know she started streaming again. I mean, I'm pretty sure I was sneaking around on my alt and saw her posting about it. Embarrassing. Like, how can you show your face around here? I would simply never show my face. Anyway, okay. So which of these three stories should we start with? Should we start with the UK or EL0N or trans woman in a bathroom? Listen, if you don't know who Riley Grace Rochong is, then consider yourself lucky and don't worry about it. We have 81 likes. Can we get to 100 today? I have like 2 hours left of stream. Like 1 or 2 hours left of stream. I couldn't even finish watching that RGR versus Doe debate. It was just too unhinged. I do think that you should, if you can get back around to it, you should then watch the RGR versus Vosh debate that immediately followed the Doe debate. It was very funny. I've spoken with IRL activists who've worked with RGR and they all hate her. I mean, that doesn't surprise me, but... Oh, man. She's so, like, smug and condescending and self-satisfied. I imagine that she would be very difficult to like in person. Silly, silly bean. No strong opinions on where we start on the news. Yeah, it takes a very special kind of person to say the things that she said to Doe. You either intentionally or unintentionally, like, all right. It's It's just not very smart. Gayfesh, come on. When RGR becomes a politician, America will finally swap to the metric system so we stop using feet. Wow. That's pretty good. I'd say that he was primarily concerned about the buying. It was such a head-ass debate bro moment. It was jaw-dropping. Yeah. It was... I just don't even know. It was crazy. She was being super condescending by that point. Oh my god. I will watch it again probably in November. Wait, what's the feet thing? Riley said that if a person has a foot fetish and they go out with their partner to somewhere like a beach and their partner is walking around barefoot, if they find that sexually titillating, then that is like voyeuristic behavior. And that if children are around, then it's pedophilic behavior. TLDR. Too long, didn't read. That's the whole argument. That was the central point of the debate, really. And Vosh, I mean, actually, like Vosh and Doe both pointed out that it's like, okay, so if I'm going out with my boyfriend or if I'm going out to a bar to try to attract someone, if I wear a really low-cut shirt that shows my cleavage, is that voyeuristic behavior? And if children happen to see me walking into the bar, would that be pedophilia? Like, but she kept walking back. It was pretty ridiculous. The funniest moment in the Vosh versus RGR debate was when he just went, Riley, are you a virgin? And she just sat there stunned like she couldn't answer. I mean, didn't she just go like, why are you ad-homing me? Like he was like, have you ever had sex before? And she was like, why are you ad-homing me? They both actually just narrowed it down to being a kink revulsion from her. She that blonde transphobic trans woman. So yeah, Riley dyes her hair blonde. Violet, hello. We're recapping like the RGR versus Doe debate thing a couple years ago because Riley has entered the space again and is working with Progressive Victory. But yeah, okay, like, just so you can know going forward. This is Riley. So, and this is her profile picture on, like, Twitter. So, yeah. She exists on the internet. So basically her goal is to transition into a Karen. Into, like, a lesbian Karen. Yeah, sure. She kind of brought the whole transmed TTT/AGP stuff to the forefront back then. I mean, yeah, like, her argument is the same as people who advocate against trans people having the right to dress how we want in public, because they say it's a fetish. They say, oh, well, you know, you can't expect me to call you by these pronouns and like, oh, you dressing in a certain way. I know you're just getting off, so you can't do it. Like, that is the logic that she was using. And it is the logic that people are using. Even if it was a fetish, so what? Like, If there's nothing overtly sexual occurring, then yeah, I don't see why it would be an issue. And I'm sure that there are people who do fulfill role-related sexual fantasies while just being around in public. I mean, the whole ring thing, the whole being married thing, or like people wear collars that are like locked on, you know? But is that pedophilia if a child sees your collar necklace? Yeah, foot fetishists wearing flip-flops need to be jailed even if people don't know, clearly. I mean, like, are you like legally not allowed to go to the beach as a person with a foot fetish because of the chance that you'll be sexually fetishizing the people around you? Like, it's just so dumb. Ultimately, it's about control. Yeah. Conservatives. And Riley is a conservative. Like, don't let her tell you she's a progressive. She's not. She's, if anything, kind of regressive. Well, I suppose we could save Elon for last. We can save Elon for last. I don't have any idea what foot people are specifically into, like high heels or stockings. I don't know. I have no idea. I don't want to know anything about these people. I'm like, I'm so happy for you. It has nothing to do with me, though. I guess, like, yeah, I would take feet pics for Fansly. So, like, but aside from that, I just don't want to be involved. Yeah, enjoy your best life. If you'll pay me a lot of money for feet pics, then sure. Otherwise, no thank you. I like the idea of having my Fansly be like $5, and that gives you access to like the thirst traps that are normal. And then like within that framework, there might be a couple pictures from the set that have feet in them, and you have to pay me like $20 to be able to see those, like on top of your on top of your 5. Like, listen, if you're gonna be weird, I'm gonna censor out all feet. I mean, I have done that before. Like, the feet will be censored and then potentially uncensored versions. Feet people are the Sith Lords of Kinksters. I once posted a picture with everything on display, but I censored my feet. Yeah. Pixelate the feet on lower tiers. Exactly. Or I'll put like an emoji over them. If I have a few visible pentagram tattoos, when I babysit my baby niece, am I grooming her into Satanism? FYI, I'm not actually a Satanist. Yeah, you are grooming a child into Satanism. How dare you? Embarrassing. Okay, what are we talking about? I guess we can start with this bathroom thing. I've always thought it hilarious when Finster pixelates his feet on his YouTube clips. You can't see them. So, yeah, oh my gosh. It's so hard to talk about the news. It's a good thing that we have some pretty low-key stuff to talk about today, though. Western Carolina University is where this next story is coming out of. Yeah, if I dye my hair blue, that's grooming. I'm grooming your child by dyeing my own hair. Your suggestible children are having fantasies of transitioning into a blue-haired person. How are you supposed to have good posture if it hurts your upper back? Does it stop hurting your upper back at some point? Or is this just what life is like when you try to have good posture? But I don't want a back brace. I simply want to get stronger. Like, I just want to be able to sit upright. Okay. I dislike the phrase good posture because in reality, you're not meant to hold one posture for too long anyway. I know, but I have a dowager's hump. So I need to fucking have good posture. Like, I have a hump at the top of my spine. And my neck, like, juts forward. And if I don't correct it, I will end up with a giant hump in my back. So, like, yes, like, I guess, like, good posture is nebulous, but there is such a thing as bad posture, so I feel like there must be such a thing as good posture. Yes, I have done yoga, and the yoga that I do has Pilates mixed in. But it's about all the time. It's not about the 20 minutes that I'm doing yoga, you guys. It's about how I sit in my chair all fucking day when I do my job. Back in the 80s and in the 70s and 80s, people used to dye hair blue, orange, green. Most people paid no attention to it. Now those same people who had blue hair as a teen have a problem with modern people doing it. Well, you see, the problem is that now it's associated with queer culture, and that's not acceptable. So I'm trying to, I think that after I move, I think that basically, I think this desk is going to be left behind because it's kind of falling apart anyway. And then we will get, I mean, if I can afford it, I really hope, but like right after moving across the country, like either I'm going to have to just get a desk from like a garage sale, or like ideally, I would love to buy a standing sitting hybrid desk so that I can stand while I work. Yeah, temporarily the Walmart card table as I beam in from a laptop. It has gotten less uncomfortable to hold good posture over time for me. Yeah. I'm gonna like probably talk to my partner about like how much we're each saving right now, and then there's a possibility that I might run a GoFundMe to help with the moving costs. If for no other reason than like if we had a little bit of money left over, then I could get a desk, you know. Um but it's going to be tough moving all the way, like all the way up to PNW. It's a 27-hour drive from Kansas City to Seattle. Yeah, I know, right? It's going to be a 3-day journey. I don't know how many miles. It depends on which way you go, really, like how long it's going to take you as well, because there's kind of like two major ways you could go. You could either go north and then west, or you could go west and then north. I've never heard people badmouth standing desks. Yeah, I've never heard anything bad. My drive was from North Carolina to Washington. It was rough. No kidding. Wow. Yeah. That's a nice 5-day ordeal. Crazy. I drove from DC to Austin and back. That was like half the distance. I mean, it's pretty far from DC to Austin. The Rockies alone add at least a day to travel across them. Yeah, it's like I kind of like the idea of driving through the mountains for the purpose of like, you know, maybe it can be a nice scenic kind of thing and like visiting some places that we haven't visited. Versus like the economical, let's just fucking brute force this thing and get it done. Yeah, true. Go one route when you drive up there, and then the other route the next time when you forget your phone charger and have to go back for it. I'll just, with that long of a drive, I'll just buy a new phone charger. My drive from North Carolina to Washington, I was driving a 90s SUV. There was no cruise control. My co-pilot and I drove nonstop in shifts, only one overnight stop in Colorado. I'm imagining that we will not do that because it's like pretty unsafe to drive overnight if you're not used to being up overnight. But then again, there's the potential of having like, oh my god, let's hope that there's no bed bugs in the hotel, you know? Like just ugh, stuff like that. If you're taking a U-Haul, I'd say take the flattest route possible. Basically, yeah, that too. I've done Austin, Texas to Seattle, and then Seattle to Charlotte, North Carolina, and back. Ooh. Damn, y'all. I usually sleep in the car. Well, I don't think it's gonna be... It's gonna be like January, so I don't think sleeping in the car is an option. Bedbugs, sketchy motels in general was why we did the best we could to avoid it. I mean, maybe staying in a semi-nice hotel is going to be part of the cost of it all, so that we can get a decent night's sleep and then crack out another 16-hour drive. And then you got to take into account that when you actually show up at your destination, you have a U-Haul full of shit that you don't necessarily want to leave in the street, you know? There's like stuff that you're going to want to bring inside immediately. So you might as well do you like, that's part of it. Like try to arrive on a day that you haven't already spent 8 hours driving. Do not stop in Fresno. Okay. God. Uprooting your life and moving across the country. Turns out it has a lot of logistical complications involved. Where is Fresno? What state is that in? Yes, I have a cat. Fresno is in Cali. Oh, okay, I'm probably not gonna go through California. Yeah, I'm guessing I'm just gonna need to drug him. Like, he's gonna be on Kitty Benadryl for a few days. Hell, it's in hell. Oh, gosh. Yes, I did see what Mama shared in Stream Rec. Are you talking about the trans woman who was, bothered in the public restroom? Because I have that tab open right now. I'm thinking of taking my little voice break and then coming back and launching into the news. Don't move during winter. The mountains suck ass, and the last few years have been horrendous. I don't. That's when the lease is up. I don't know what to tell you. But that's why I was kind of thinking driving north and then west, because then you're going like mostly above the mountains. Anyway, those are logistics I don't have to know anything about for like a few more months. I have like a few more months before I need to start being like, oh shit, I actually need to have like a solid plan. Good night, Cookie. Yeah, it is getting late over there in Europe. The south route is a lot easier. What do you mean, the south route? Like the going through the fucking mountains? Go through Reno and then southeastern Oregon through Reno. Reno is in California too, isn't it? Is like NoCal? There will be a bunch of snow in the Oregon part of the drive, but if you plan right, they plow it real good. Oh, it's in Nevada. Okay. I saw that, Mama. Oh, that was so sad. Bernard Hill passed away. I mean, true, he was like 79 or 89 or something like that. Like he was an old goat. He made, he made it pretty far in life. But he was the guy who played Theoden, King of Rohan. Exactly. He goes now to the halls of his fathers, in whose mighty company he shall not feel ashamed. And we actually just watched Lord of the Rings Fellowship of the Ring on yesterday. So perhaps next week we'll watch the next one and get to see his wonderful performance. Honestly, I don't know. Was it the same in the mountains this year where there was just a lot less? I just feel like there was a lot less snow this year than there normally is. Rip in pieces, Bernard Hill. Exactly, where was Gondor when the Westfold fell? Where was... And he looks around, he's like, I cannot yell at you in the middle of my hall. That does not make me look good. He was also the captain in Titanic. Driving through the mountains. Boo. 89 likes. We're so close to 100. Can we get to 100 today? Maybe? Well, while you are figuring that out, I'm gonna go to the bathroom. Imagine that there's a bathroom song, and I'll give you to the bugs for just a couple minutes. So don't go anywhere, or I'll find you. And when I get back, we will talk about the news. See if you can find huckleberries and bring some back. I'm begging you. I will do my best to forage on my way over there. Yeah. Hey, chat, Luxander has to go to the bathroom. So imagine there's a Luxander bathroom song. Bugs. Okay. Go with joy to the bugs. I'm just gonna plop you in there. Enjoy being a frog. Bonjour. Jump scare. I have returned. Okay. I got my feet underneath me. The bugs seem happy and active today. Yeah, I poured a ton of water in their tank a couple of days ago or yesterday or something, and they are quite active after I do that. Yep. Bugs, 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 bugs. They're good. The bugs know to hydrate. Well, it helps them breathe. Like, they have, kind of like gills, I guess you could say. There's a special word for it. I can't remember what the word is, but they need water in order to breathe. So. Yeah, bugs, bugs, bugs. And I know the container is getting a little overgrown. I'm not totally sure what to do about that. Like, I keep cutting those plants down. Like, do I need to just remove those plants that keep getting way too big? I don't really like them that much. Bugs are fish. Isopods are fish. Kind of. They used to be. Ooh, so close to 100 likes. Okay. There's this new phenomenon happening where not only are people complaining about trans women in bathrooms, but they're doing, you know, like, obviously inappropriate, first of all, and second of all, illegal things, like filming people in bathrooms. We've covered one before in a Planet Fitness bathroom where this woman took a picture of a man in the bathroom, and honestly, it was unclear who this person was, why they were in the bathroom, were they even in the women's bathroom? The photo didn't make it clear what restroom it was, and Planet Fitness canceled her membership of the woman who took the picture, because yeah, not only is it inappropriate and often against company policy, but it is also illegal in many places to take a photo of someone or take video of someone. Yeah, you know, they keep calling us pervs. They keep saying, ooh, these trans people, ooh, you want to get in our bathrooms to do weird, creepy stuff. Like, we're literally using the bathroom, and then you're filming us. Like, who's creepy here? Who's engaging in creepy, illegal behavior here? It's not the trans people. So, today, we have a video, actually, from a very short video from Western Carolina University, which I believe is in North Carolina, where a trans woman is being filmed and bothered by a cisgender woman, presumably. Like, we're about to witness evidence of a crime. Like, congratulations on filming yourself committing a crime. Yeah, it's the constant dehumanization. You can do anything. You can justify doing anything to a person who you're dehumanizing. So let me make sure that you can hear this.
What are you doing?
Going to the bathroom.
Why are you in the girls' bathroom?
Okay, hold on. It's not loud enough. And I know it's not on the screen. Hold on. I know. I told you that I was just making sure you could hear it. All right. This is as loud as I can make it.
What are you doing?
Going to the bathroom.
Why are you in the girls' bathroom?
I'm a trans girl.
But you're not a girl.
Oh, we're doing one of these.
Yeah.
Interesting. Never had this before. I don't know what to say. I'm sorry you feel that way.
Yeah, I pay a lot of money to be safe in the bathroom.
Me too. Excuse me. Rude.
Do you think that's okay? What are you doing?
The absolute class act. So you notice the way that this video starts. This woman just entered the bathroom. So this cis woman, I think, may have followed this trans woman into the bathroom. Or, like, it's kind of unclear what's happening here, but you've confronted this woman. She's like, what are you doing in here? She's like, I'm using the bathroom. Like, why are you in here? Like, I'm a trans girl. And she's like, yeah, just the absolute class act. I know she was a little bit quiet through this, but she was like, oh, we're doing one of these. And then the cis girl is just like, yeah. And she's like, oh, well, I don't know what to say. I'm sorry you feel that way. And then she's like, I'm going to move on. I love this move here too, where this cis girl is blocking the door and keeping her in the bathroom for a sec. So she just very calmly and politely crosses her hands over and just says, excuse me. And she says something here. I don't know if she said move or rude or something. It's just like a one word right here. And I couldn't tell what it was because the cis girl starts talking over her and being like, oh, do you think that's okay? And this girl's like, I'm literally just going to walk away. I'm not sure what happens after this because it seems like initially this cis girl is following her, right? Like she starts to step after this trans girl. So I certainly hope that that was the end of the altercation though, because that lady handled that with some grace, some extreme patience and grace. Just like, oh, I've never had this happen before. I'm sorry you feel that way. And then she's just like, I'm prepared to move on with my day because all she did was use the bathroom and wash her hands. I know a lot of you in the stream audience are like very in favor of hand washing. If a bathroom break is too short, you start to speculate. So listen, this lady is doing a lot. I paid a lot to be safe in the bathroom. Me too. Such a burn. Like, you are safe in the bathroom. Actually, you're making me unsafe in the bathroom. You're committing a crime against me in the bathroom. Because, yeah, a lot of the comments have pointed out this is in North Carolina, and it's a misdemeanor. State law makes it illegal to film people in private spaces, including bedrooms, bathrooms, showers, and dressing rooms. Filming someone in a private space is a misdemeanor in North Carolina. So what did you just do? Well, you committed a crime and you filmed yourself doing it. It's wild. It's so wild to me. The accusations that get leveled against trans people, like, oh, you're gonna groom someone, you're gonna, like, harm a child. Like, you're accusing me of crimes right now. And meanwhile, like, in true actuality, you know, oh, we're so concerned about women's privacy and you're violating women's privacy. You're actually violating women's privacy. You're committing a crime against a trans woman if you film her in a bathroom. She probably thought she was doing a public service. Oh yeah, of course. Of course, they're like, I'm gonna expose you. Because, like, it could have just been a conversation. It could have just been a conversation that wasn't filmed. You didn't have to commit the crime part of it. But why? Because she was going to post it. A man using the girls' bathroom at Western Carolina University. Unreal. Like, are you a student here? It doesn't say in her bio that she's a student. I don't know. It just says spokeswoman for Independent Women's Forum. So why are you even on this campus? Why are you harassing a student? I mean, she says she paid. Does that mean that she's a student? Okay, well, you're both students. You both pay to have access to the bathroom. I need to have an Uno reverse card on deck for if a TERF tries this. I mean, I honestly think that this was like a de-escalating response. And I think that if you're a trans woman, if you know that a tricky situation is coming in, like, it makes the most sense to do the thing that is going to keep you the safest, which means, you know, being polite. It means keeping your voice down. It means not insulting the person. Also, it says a lot about her that she thinks paying money entitles her to, yeah, her own personal space, like, with no trans people in it. This is what I keep saying about, it's a particularly, like, a white woman problem. And I'm not saying all white women are like this, obviously, but it is, like, kind of a uniquely white woman thing that is a carryover from segregation, where white women in particular feel that they are entitled to spaces away from people that they do not like. Ultimately, I believe, so they could say, oh, well, we don't want black men around us because blah, 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 a fear of sexual assault. And a lot of white men will agree with that and be like, we need to protect the white women from the black people, like the black men in particular. But, like, you can't really use a oh, fear of sexual assault justification to prevent black women from being able to use the same spaces as you. But that doesn't mean that white women weren't actively a part of keeping black women segregated in separate bathrooms and in separate jobs, and like not having access to the same kind of like facilities and teachers, even like, you know, being in separate classes, like, you know, the idea that black people needed to be in a separate school. It's the same thing where white women are just like, I've decided that you're icky and it is compromising my safety for you to be around me. Like, girl, what are you talking about? It's the inherent like victim mentality that they have. They also have no idea who they might be harassing in a college as big as this. This trans woman could have been a professor. She could have been a donor to the school. She could have been a visiting artist or perhaps a visiting researcher. Happens to be a student, I guess. But yeah, it's the entitlement. It's crazy. Genuinely thinking that, yeah, oh, I pay to go to this institution, therefore I should never have to encounter a person I don't like in the bathroom. And yeah, again, like with the way that this video starts, I think there's a very good chance that this lady followed her in there. She waited just long enough for this woman to be done peeing so that she could confront her. She was ready to film as she walked into this bathroom. Like, that's the door. She walked in, she pulled open her phone and started filming. Part of me wants to just assume people are trans if they act like TERFs and wait for them to try to explain how they would prove otherwise. I mean, yeah. Again, I just think trying to keep the altercation as short as possible and then take it up with faculty or whoever's in charge if you can. Yeah, that is a problem, Zotha. These people know that they will never meet any consequences for their actions. That's why they're so bold when breaking the law. I mean, they just don't think that trans people are deserving of protections under the law. Or maybe they don't know that it's illegal to film someone. But, I mean, they do seem to think that, like, it should be okay. I mean, this is kind of the whole Project 2025 of it all, is like, they do seem to think that denying trans people things that cis people get to have is okay, normal, and acceptable, and a good thing. Like, cis people can wear whatever clothes they want, but trans people can't. Cis people can get whatever medication they want, but trans people can't. Cis people can update their identification, but trans people can't. You know, like, it is consistent with that goal of just doing a disservice to trans people in every opportunity that's possible. Rules for thee, but not for me. But truly, a tip of the hat to this woman, college student, presumably, who kept it totally cool and kept it moving more than anything. Like, kept it cool and kept it moving. She's like, after the cis girl got out of her way in the bathroom, she's like, I have no more to say to you. Since you're not going to try to entrap me in this bathroom, okay, have a good day. Goodbye. Like, that, I think that would be the only thing that would have increased the level of like, yes, that was a good burn, is if at the end of the day, like at the end of the conversation, that woman had been like, do you think that's okay? And then the trans girl was like, have a good day, ma'am, or something like that. Just like, have a blessed life or something. You know, it's North Carolina, so maybe take it the blessed direction. Bless your heart. Bless your heart. I hope you have a good day. Yeah, so much grace considering how uncomfortable that situation is and how dangerous it can turn super quickly. Because, I mean, ultimately, you don't know necessarily if this woman has a guy who's ready to come in and bother you, you know? Also a minor? Was one of them a minor? I didn't think so. Hmm. But yeah, a lot of people are like, yo, this is a crime. Yo, like, tag in the administration of the college. But this is a college, so it's not a minor. Like, it's Western Carolina University. Sorry. Honestly, and this is the other thing too, this contributes to a culture where a lot of people avoid using public restrooms, and that's why trans people have a higher rate of urinary tract infections and bladder infections than the general population because we just avoid using public bathrooms, you know? Like, even though this young lady handled it with grace, there was still, like, that's still gonna be okay, well, I need to keep this in mind for next time when I go to the bathroom, that this could happen again, or that this could escalate in the future. Especially because, you know, people who don't pass often have like an increased anxiety. But it's like not right that we should have to be worried. Like, you committed a crime against me, but that now has me worried. Like, I guess, like, concerned that people are going to commit even more intense crimes against me. You filmed me in a public bathroom without my consent. What's going to stop you from committing more egregious crimes on me? What's going to stop you from pantsing me or bursting in on me in the stall or beating me up? Like, you're clearly willing to violate my privacy, committing a crime against me. Like, this is the thing that trans people have to worry about in public. Like, I'm going to worry about someone committing a crime on my body every time I have to use a public restroom. Like, there's a reason why most of us don't. I basically don't go places long enough that I would need to use a public restroom. And if I do, honestly, typically, I'll put my hair down and go into the women's restroom because that's what I'm legally required to do. And frankly, I think that that is probably the safest option for me, unless someone pulls out my ID, which still says male, in which case, like, that could be a problem. But that's what I'm saying. Like, I just try to avoid it where possible. If I go to the gym, okay, I'm wearing skin tight clothes and my body is like, you know, if you are seeing me through clothes, pretty normatively feminine. So I feel like if I need to pee before I leave the gym, then like, okay, I might do that sometimes. But so many of us have to deal with ambiguity and like, I'm not sure how this person's going to perceive my voice if they talk to me in the bathroom, or yeah, like, is this person going to peep on me, or is this person going to film me? We should not have to deal with this kind of fear in public. Like, this, like, honestly, I know that hate crime is a very specific kind of thing, but it feels like you should be able to compound the crime. Like, not only were you filming me in public, but you also published that to a broader audience of people in hopes of inviting violence onto me. That's how I would feel if I was this trans woman, if I saw my image being circulated online. Like, yeah, I go to the bathroom before I go anywhere, and I will underdrink while I'm in public. That's another thing. Like, that's another reason why trans people have more complications with urinary problems, is because we also don't drink enough water in order to avoid needing to go to the bathroom in public. Yeah, if there are other bigots on that campus, they're now going to be looking for this woman in the bathroom in the future. But again, strength and grace. That's what we saw today. I think it's a great example. I think following in her footsteps is probably the way to go. Just remain calm. Don't treat it like it's a big deal. You know, did you see that AI that lets you find the location of a picture? No, that sounds terrifying though. Just as a little segment tack on, just a little tack on to the end of that segment. Oh no. I know that there are people who are really good at that. Like people who are really quick at it. But it's typically outside. Yeah, that is pretty creepy. Does it only work for outdoors? Sometimes I see people posting, like, a picture off their balcony outside their apartment, and I'm like, you're bold, sir or madam. Okay, let's add this one to the stream notes. Notes, 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 dum-da-dum, notes. What is today? 5/4, 2024, I want to say? Is it 5/3? 5/5. Oh my god, I'm fucking losing it. I'm not good at keeping track of the dates. Okay. There we go. Now it's in my notes. It is Sunday somehow. I'm good at keeping track of what day of the week it is for the most part, but I don't think about the date very much. What's up, Akamoto? It's Cinco de Drinko. I was like not allowed to drink alcohol this week, basically. Because you don't want to drink before you get a tattoo, and then you also don't want to drink for the first, like, 48 hours after you get a tattoo. Which I guess means that I could drink tonight if I really wanted to do so. Cinco de Mayo. I never had to deal with this. The more I think about this, the more I understand why, especially in Germany, Bavaria, trans people often live like hermits and outcasts here. It's pretty sickening. I'm non-binary because everybody is. I don't think everybody is. And I wish to wear your hoodie in this conservative area where I live. Listen, I'm going to caution you against wearing my hoodie in a conservative area. I cannot tell you how long it takes to arrive because they have to actually print the hoodie and then send it to you. And I have no idea how long it takes for things to get to Europe. Let me know when it gets there how long it took so that I can have a better barometer for future. But I've only been selling these for like 2 months. Yeah, imagine if an LGBTQ person filmed a TERF in a bathroom. Everybody would lose their collective shit. Cinco de Drinko. Funny how Cinco de Mayo has more to do with America than Mexico. Yeah. We just want any excuse to drink. Like, why do we celebrate fucking St. Patty's Day or Cinco de Mayo? Basically just because we need opportunities to drink in the spring. I mean, Christmas is like it's originally a Christian thing, so it is like America, Christianity. America, Christianity. I don't know about Cinco de Mayo, but it is Revenge of the 5th. I totally forgot about the May the 4th, whatever, until my partner said it to me yesterday, and I was like, oh yeah, that is a thing that people say. Revenge of the 5th. Well, yeah, I know Yule, yeah, but like Britain stole Yule and made it into Christmas. That's like not America's fault. And then we adopted Christmas because of Christianity being here also. But it's like, yeah, so like I can see how Christianity and Christmas have something to do with America. Cinco de Mayo and St. Patrick's Day don't have anything to do with us, but they're big holidays here. Personally, I thought it was Revenge of the 6th, but I guess that's just me. It depends. In the past, having a camera and microphone was a weird thing. If people did have a camera, there were strict privacy laws, but now people can film folks just working. That's normalized for employers, for example. Remote workers? Girl, you gotta be kidding me if you think that I'm gonna let you film me. Yes, exactly, Tubian. Rest in peace, Bernard Hill. King Theoden. Can we get 5 Mayos today? Some companies literally put spyware on work laptops. Well, that's why my work laptop has tape over the webcam. I'm playing with a claw clip. Thanks to immigration and the Great Potato Famine, there is more Irish blood in this country than in Ireland proper. Like, there's like a lot of people with Irish genetics, huh? So St. Patty's can technically be a thing here on those grounds. Oh, I mean, like, I know. I just... Yeah, I guess, like, I hadn't really considered that aspect of it all. Just hate how normalized spying is. Yeah. I mean, I've worked in places that have cameras on you all day. And you pretty much just have to, like, know where the cameras are not if you don't want to be seen by them. I broke my claw clip. I broke one of his teeth. Isn't that so sad? They're shitty plastic anyway. America equals New Ireland. True! Listen, if Ireland wants to take us over, I'm gonna be more than happy to let that happen. This is no longer America, this is New Ireland. Don't forget the Phantom Men 8th in a few days. The Phantom Men 8th. That's a stretch. Cinco de Mayo actually references, according to Jackie in the YouTube chat, Cinco de Mayo references a battle involving the Mexican army during the American Civil War, which ended up being pivotal in the Union's victory. So it actually has something to do with U.S. American Civil War history? Well, that's interesting. You can tell I care a lot about why we drink on Cinco de Mayo. An Irish lady can take me over. True! We already missed a 2 hope. Okay, I don't think I need my earbud in anymore. On Cinco de Mayo, we celebrate a battle where they destroyed a container ship full of mayonnaise. Therefore, Cinco de Mayo. Yeah. I saw on Twitter people were joking about returning Mississippi to the Choctaw Nation. Most agreed that the state was so corrupt and dysfunctional that the Choctaw taking it back would be a definite improvement. I mean, this is kind of what the land back concept is, right? The idea of land back. Ooh, we reached 100 likes. Fuck yeah. Thank you. That's amazing. Can we get to $100 in donations today? We only need like $84. And then I'll flex. And you'll see my progress because I'm starting a bulk again. Bulk! Yeah, but like, I think that that's kind of what land back is about not necessarily like kicking all the white people out and putting Native Americans back in their lands or whatever, but it's more about like the United States is doing a very shitty job of like being stewards of the land, making sure that the system is balanced, like the ecosystem is balanced, and making sure that we're taking care of all the species that need taking care of, you know, doing burns at certain times, not building dams that are going to destroy wetlands and then cause droughts, you know. So, you know, that's kind of the theory. Land back means different things to different people. Well, I mean, yeah, but like, as far as the organized demands, most people who are participating in the discourse, I would say, are not saying we need to kick white people out of here. You know? Stretch, y'all. If you're getting old like me, take a quick moment to just, you know, do a little stretch. Doesn't have to be a big stretch. It can be a little stretch. You don't even have to get up. Later, Tori. Good luck tonight. I like that a bunch of reservations banned that Republican congressman from setting foot on their land. I don't think I heard about this one. Ooh, gotta stretch out that shoulder. Oh, Congresswoman. Oh, yeah. Oh, no, I'm not sure which one it was. I haven't heard about this. I'm getting old. I'm turning 27 in July, which is basically 30, which is basically dead. I actually didn't start to feel like the encroachment of 30 until I turned 28. Because 27 still is like the midpoint between 25 and 30. But no, you're not basically dead. Your 30s are going to have so much good sex and better laws passing, and I don't know. It's going to be good stuff. 30s are a good time. They're a good place to be. Oh, South Dakota Governor Kristi Noem is now banned from some parts of her own home state after tribes voted to legally bar her from reservation land after she made comments linking tribal leaders to drug cartels. Kristi Noem, wow. What was the whole ordeal about her shooting her dog? Like, from what I've heard, she had a dog and she was trying to train it to be around guns and it didn't like it very much. And so instead of giving it away, she just shot it. Is that right? That reeks of a rich lady solution. Yeah, like, there was a goat, some horses. I mean, like, goats and horses are, like, animals that you might kill to eat them or because they got injured or something. Earplugs for dogs. Actually, dog groomers will, like, put a thing around the dog's entire head and cover their ears, like, so their ears are up here, but it's like their entire head is wrapped like this to make them freak out less about, like, the sound of the dryer or whatever. Dog attempted to bite her, which she used as justification to put it down. Wow. Yeah, if a horse breaks its leg, the humane thing to do is shoot it. People don't understand that, like, a horse's cardiovascular system works by like them running or them walking around. So they, like, it never is going to heal right for them to be able to continue to run like that. So it actually causes lifelong health problems if you try to save a horse that's broken its leg. Ow. It was 3 horses in a week? Just sell them. Sell them, honestly. Someone wants your elderly horse. Someone wants to love and care for your arthritic horse. Man. She had brought the 14-month-old puppy hunting, and it ran around instead of hunting, obviously, because it was an untrained puppy. Then she put it in the back of her truck, where it leapt out on the way home and killed some chickens. So then she took it to a gravel pit and shot it. Wow. I hope that even a bunch of Republicans stop voting for her. Basically, she was too stupid to train her dog and used that as an excuse to to exercise her desire to kill animals. Yo, is this in her, like, autobiography? How do we know these things? Mersh says she actually shot one horse while the other one was standing beside it and got to see and hear the whole thing, and then she shot the second horse. What the fuck? Why would you admit to this? This is like Jessie Gender admitting that she threw a cat when she was a kid. Like, you didn't have to say that. You just never, you could have kept that to the chest the whole time. Yeah, isn't animal cruelty one of the big warning signs of a serial killer? That's what I've always heard. Or, like, it's a sign of, like, potential psychopathy or something. Like, clinical psychopathy. Trump hates dogs and she wants to be his VP. Oh, no. Old bad psychology with the psychopathy thing, I assume. The whole book, in her words, was about making tough decisions / sacrifices. To be clear, I don't know that I specified kids, but I guess, like, yeah, it's an old wives' tale that kids will hurt animals and then become psychos or serial killers. But a lot of the times they don't understand, if they're young enough especially. But, like, an adult who is just killing animals because... We're talking about Kristi Noem. She's a Republican, what is she, House of Representatives? Is that what someone said earlier? Oh, she's a governor? She's a governor? Oh my god. I feel like Jessie gets a bit too much crap for that. She knows it was wrong. What I'm saying is, why did she admit to it? Like, did someone expose her about it and then she had to address the accusations? Or did Jessie just say that she threw her cat? Like, that's what I'm saying. What I'm saying is, you did not need to tell anybody that. It doesn't matter how remorseful you are. Like, she brought it up to make an argument about male socialization. Yeah, dumb fucking thing to do. I'm sorry. Jessie Gender is kind of fucking dumb. Yeah, just don't tell people about your acts of animal violence. God. She even wrote in her book that her daughter came home from school and asked her, "Where's Cricket?" when she couldn't find her dog on the day that she killed it. It was her daughter's little buddy. You just took a pet and tried to treat it like a hunting dog when it was a pet. You didn't train it? Yeah, this is my free PR advice. Exactly, Decoy Duck. Decoy Duck and I bring you this free PR advice. Do not announce to the world that you murdered a puppy or threw a cat. Like, don't. Absolutely crazy shit. Yeah, it was presumably a house pet that, again, a 14-month-old. I would say, like, you could start training a dog at less than 2 years, but don't expect it to be behaved until it's older than 2 years. And you'd have to train it pretty strictly to make it a hunting dog. Say less now. Yeah, it's good advice. Say less. Sometimes I want to say things. Sometimes I want to get involved in, like, Twitter spats, and then I don't, because I'm like, you know what? I don't actually need this drama in my life. Yeah, by the way, I robbed a bank yesterday, just FYI. IDK, if it's good to encourage people to hide the bad things they've done if they want to be better than they were, you do not need to tell people about your animal cruelty in order to be a better person. You're just ruining your reputation for no good reason. Like, is anybody helped by that? Or does everybody just think like, oh yeah, like, first of all, you did the thing in the first place, but second of all, you volunteered the information. Like, it does not increase your credibility to be like, I feel really bad about throwing a cat. Like, everybody's not going to hear the first half of that sentence. Like, and I'm not necessarily justifying that. I'm just saying, like, I would simply not tell people. Well, okay, I might tell someone in private, but I would not on my public platform make a whole fucking video about male socialization and admit to hurting an animal in it. It's just not a smart move. It's like Shane Dawson. Like, I never fucked my cat. I never touched my cat. You know what I mean? Like, it's just the kind of thing that sticks out in your memory, and it becomes like the primary association you have with that person. Yeah, sounds like a convo for a mental health professional. These unrehabitable assets, animals in a business, you can't sell or give away defective creatures as they are a legal liability. I mean, with horses, there are people who want to, like, let your old arthritic horse live out the rest of its natural life on their land with no intention of profiting off of it, you know? Byron says you don't announce yourself having done things like that for the same reason that being canceled doesn't really help someone grow as a person. Like, why are you trying to work this out in public? It just makes you seem like a person who really needs therapy and isn't in it. Petting zoos are also a good option for chill animals you can't keep. You know? You can probably sell your horse to, like, someone who does Renaissance festivals, and it's just like, okay, this is a really old horse, but you can put a 4-year-old on top of it and it'll walk around slowly when it's being led by a person. Like, yeah, my friend volunteers at a ranch of horses like that. They give rides to kids. There you go. Bing, bang, boom. Why are you shooting horses? Like, it's... Oh, man. I don't get it. Well, that wasn't... I didn't really intend to go on a whole segment about Kristi Noem and really unhinged behavior. Like, listen, I'm not a vegan. I'm not a vegetarian. I want to hunt rabbits. Like, I want to hunt deer. I want to raise chickens and then kill them and eat their meat, you know? Like, but that is, like, so separate from, like, oh, this dog is not trainable. Like, okay, if it's not trainable, not every dog is meant to be a service dog, right? Like, not every dog is meant to be a service dog. Sometimes you start training them and then they fail. They are too easily distracted. Like, whatever. Okay, cool. You don't have to kill the dog because it failed the service dog program. You can just adopt it out to someone. Or don't do that because it was clearly your kid's pet. My cat hunts rabbits. They're invasive, so it's fine, but they're cute, so I feel bad. Yeah, I'm glad that your cat hunts rabbits and not birds. Because, like, yeah, that's the thing about outdoor cats. Like, you can't control what they do. If they're killing rabbits, then it's probably fine, except that your cat... I think that cats can get tularemia. So... But, you know, again, if you have a cat who absolutely insists on being outside, like, there's not a lot you can do. He's 2 for 2 on bagging the Easter Bunny. Imagine teaching your kids that's how you handle older animals and then expecting them to take care of you when you're older. Like, no, Mom, you've outlived your useful years. I figured that's what you meant. He caught a rabbit this Easter and last Easter. It's a tradition, okay? Leave him alone. It's a tradition. He's gonna go get it. We're at 109 likes on a pretty normal chill stream. Of course we're talking about the news still, but it's not like the most politically active stream we've ever had. Off to the gravel pit, Ma. Christy Gnome's daughter raising a gun. This is for cricket. Oh, goodness. My cat's trying to stop the second coming of the Bunny Christ so he doesn't have to face judgment for his rabbit crimes. Ma's gotten all forgetful. Guess it's time for God to sort her out. We're gonna send you back to God, Mama. Yeah, I really sincerely hope that this screws Christy Gnome's career. Like, the idea that this is a person who could potentially be Trump's VP is really genuinely not cool. Let's just keep it sleazy and say, like, genuinely not cool. There was also a construction crew at the gravel pit she shot the animals at who must have been very confused. It gets worse. Like, it keeps getting worse. And I didn't think it could keep getting worse. Like, what do you... There was like a construction crew there. Did she leave the dog? Did she shoot it and then load it into the back of her truck and drag it off? Or did she just leave it there? You have copyright on your logo? I guess I technically have to file for copyright on it. Don't copy it, please. Like... I feel like she just left it there. My gut says she left it there. Yeah. Copyright doesn't need to be filed to be valid. I mean, yeah, I have all the original files, like all my original, I have all my original Photoshop files. She probably had the construction crew clean it up, made them bury it. Yeah. I don't imagine that she would follow up on that. Ugh, Jesus. Jesus. Construction crew finishes cleaning up Cricket's body and then they see Christy pulling up again with a goat. I mean, with the goat, like, butcher it, eat it. Like, I understand that goats are a pain in the ass behaviorally, but if you have a goat that you're like, I'm done with this goat, either sell it to someone or eat it. Eat it. I don't even know if goat tastes good. Man, water is so delicious. Goat tastes fine in my limited experience. Goat can taste very good. Water is actually S tier. Like, my water has lemon in it. That makes it real yummy. Lamb shank and mint sauce, but lamb is not the word for goat. Lamb is for mutton. I've had lamb before. I thought it was delicious. Goat's all right. I found lamb really, really delicious. Haven't had an opportunity to get it again because lamb is expensive here in the US of A. We don't really do mutton here, so it's pretty expensive. The supply is pretty low. Demand is also pretty low, so you would think that that might bring the price down a bit, but nope, it's like $10 a pound. It's very expensive. Like, comparatively, beef is like $5 a pound. Excuse me. I mean, it sort of depends on what cut you get, obviously. No, they don't call goat meat lamb. Lamb is specifically baby sheep. Lamb is baby sheep. Yeah, bimboing hard right now. Yeah, if you eat young goats, you can basically tell people you're eating someone's kids. Oh no, the hiccups. No. My job is to talk and now I have hiccups. No. I'm so sad. Why? Oh no. I think technically I do know where there is a butcher that I could hypothetically get some goat meat from. Yeah, let's talk about EL0N and JK Rowling. That's exactly right. Yeah. I think maybe they've gone. It was a temporary hiccups, not a long-term hiccups. I'm pretty sure that I had a buffalo burger. There was a restaurant that they used to have out at the Legends Mall in Kansas City that was like, was it Ted's? Like Ted's Buffalo something or other. And so I've had a buffalo burger at least once, maybe like twice, and I remember that being really good, but I was very young. Yeah, buffalo. I don't think that we have enough buffalo for me to justify eating it, though. Rattlesnake, pretty good. It seems like a lot of work. Like a lot of bones on that thing. Any hoozle. Buffalo burgers are tasty, but there is a solid chance that the buffalo is actually a bison cattle hybrid. Yeah, I was just seeing some people talk about how sometimes a company or whatever will claim to have like, oh, this is British Wagyu. Like, this is 100% Wagyu and it's British. And it's like, no, it's not. Because the people who breed Wagyu beef in Japan don't sell breeding pairs. So at best, you have a Wagyu hybrid of some kind. Like, you brought Wagyu over here and then bred it with something else. Oh, man. Although apparently you really don't want to eat straight up Wagyu beef because it's so fatty that you really, it's like you need to eat it in small amounts. Is saying I've eaten kangaroo as a kid equivalent to saying you threw a cat? No, I don't think so. Like, first of all, you were a kid, so it was given to you. And also, you didn't make a choice that harmed an animal. Okay. Oh. This UK thing. It's a UK thing. Kangaroo are classified as vermin down under. Yeah, okay, UK. They're not okay. To be completely clear, they're very not okay. We've been covering what's going on in the UK for a while because not only are the wait lists incredibly long for trans people, like the wait lists are illegally long for trans people to get care. If you need a specialist, then you're supposed to get care within like 18 weeks of your referral from your regular GP. And yeah, so we've been covering that for a while. We've also been covering the increased hostility toward trans youth in particular, like hostility toward trans youth having access to healthcare. These claims that, oh, you know, we haven't proven that this is good healthcare. We need to have more studies. There need to be more studies done on it. And kind of the UK has been moving in this direction where at this point, I believe they have pretty much officially paused all youth healthcare for trans related reasons, unless you are one of the people who they've accepted to be in like the clinical study about it. Like you have to join basically a pharmaceutical study in order to be able to be on puberty blockers as a teenager in the UK. And that's to say nothing of going on hormones, because I don't think that this clinical trial has anything to do with cross-sex hormones. I think it's for puberty blockers only. So lots of trans youth have taken heart from the fact that you can get this healthcare privately. Like the NHS, the National Healthcare Service, is public. It's taxpayer funded. Everybody gets access to healthcare for free over the NHS. But for some things, like if the wait list is 5 years long, but you're a teenager and you need this medicine now, and you know, you don't want to have to start over on a brand new wait list after you turn 18, then hey, you might do something like go to Gender GP, which is a private healthcare institution. It costs money that, you know, you're already paying taxes for healthcare, but they're denying you the healthcare, so you have to go pay extra for it to get it privately. But you can get a diagnosis of gender dysphoria or whatever it is specifically that they call it in the UK, and you can get the healthcare and not have to do the wait and not have to jump through the hoops that they make you do in the regular system. And there are some people, I'm sure, who are engaging in the gray market and like buying estrogen, even like not from Gender GP, but just buying it online. And there are probably people who are actively breaking the law by buying testosterone online. This is what happens when you get denied the official healthcare, you know? At least Gender GP, you know, it's still like a legal process. It's still like a doctor is prescribing you the thing. So it doesn't exist in a gray market or a black market. But apparently the NHS like is now preparing to crack down on any trans person, like any trans child or trans young person who is getting this care through other means. So this is like, there's a couple of things here. There's a crowdfund taking legal advice on mental health guidance for trans youth. The Good Law Project has seen an alarming leaked document from NHS England regarding children and young people's healthcare. The document, which does not bear the name of any NHS professional, asks providers of mental health support to children and young people to invite those on the national waiting list for gender services for a face-to-face appointment. Providers are told, quote, We request all CYP who have been allocated to your service for mental health review are assessed as soon as possible. As part of this process, children and young people on the waiting list for trans healthcare have been sent a, quote, gender experience summary form asking them or their families whether they are receiving support from, quote, the private sector or from abroad, such as hormone treatment. And as part of this assessment, providers are asked to, quote, advise the child or young person that their parent and their parent/carer not to take puberty blockers or gender-affirming hormones obtained through these routes without, quote, appropriate care, as though gender GP isn't appropriate care, apparently. NHS England does not identify what, quote, appropriate care is, and it is hard to see what available care it would describe as regulated. Providers are told not to prescribe or to stop prescribing puberty blockers or gender-affirming hormones. They are also told that if the trans child or young person or their family disregards your advice and you consider that this puts the child/young person at increased risk, then a safeguarding referral may also be appropriate in line with standard safeguarding approaches. So basically what they're doing is saying, we're saying these kids who are on the waiting list, so these kids are waiting on the NHS list to get this healthcare. And now the NHS was happy to leave them languishing on a wait list for 5 years. But now they're like, oh, you know what? We need to do a little mental health assessment. We need to do a little visit with you. And part of that visit is demanding to know whether those children and their families are seeking this healthcare through other means, and then saying, you need to stop doing that. And then saying, if you don't stop doing that, we will open an investigation. There will be social workers. There may be police. We will go into your home and determine whether you are a safe parent. And we might basically force you to detransition. And now this is alarming. Is this document real? That's the question. Like, is this real? Is this for real happening? So this tweet over here, it's reasonable to describe this as an attempt to force trans people to detransition. Quote. So this person, Jamie, says, yesterday I spent the day on and off the phone with NHS England, who have finally confirmed leaked documents from the Good Law Project are in fact real and in use. What we know currently, NHS England is going to give 6,000 plus trans children advice that may leave them with no choice but to medically detransition or face safeguarding referrals, according to these leaked plans, which has now been confirmed. The documents say that if young people and families are using, quote, unregulated or overseas providers for gender-affirming care, they should stop. And if they continue without, quote, appropriate care, they may face safeguarding referrals. So again, this is coming from the people who want you to wait until puberty has done all its damage before they will offer you any medicine. Yeah, these breadcrumbs, those were way too much. You have to suffer even more. Outlawing the healthcare does not, in fact, make the healthcare need go away, only the safety. Yeah, you're pushing people to use alternate means to get the medicine. And then you're saying, yeah, but if you do that, we will actually open an investigation on your family. And like, what does that involve? Does that mean that if the parents are providing the care, the parents can be jailed? Does it mean that the children might be taken into state custody? It's really unclear. When I first figured out I was trans, it was almost impossible. It took years to get the process going to get hormones. Where I live in America, most trans people were buying hormones illegally back then. These laws will just make people get those things illegally again. Yeah, so it's like, you have to lie. I guess you have to lie if you want to be safe as a trans person. You know, they're going to fast track you to a mental health check-in. Ooh, you finally get your first appointment. Isn't that so great? And then they're going to ask you if you're already on the medicine. And the way that this usually works in the US, at least, as far as I understand it, is that if you're already on the medicine, like let's say you're buying it on the gray market, you're dosing yourself at home. I think in the US, a lot of doctors, because it's harm reduction, will say, holy shit, I'm just going to give you a prescription for this. Like, especially if you're in an informed consent situation, they'll go, oh, you're clearly going to access this care anyway, so I need to give you it safely, or you're going to continue taking it in a way that is unsafe. Jamie continues, what's the implication? Quote, the consequence must be that no young trans person should be taking medication. That is the NHS's apparent view. I think it's reasonable to describe this as an attempt to force people to detransition. The documents ask providers of mental health support for children and young people to invite them, the ones that are on waiting lists, to have face-to-face appointments. Some providers have been asked to complete these assessments by 30th June 2024. They are fast-tracking this. They're trying to get 6,000 children waiting. Oh, so you've been unable to process all of our first appointments so far, but now that you're wanting to, like, make sure that we're not doing the thing that you don't want us to be doing, like, oh, suddenly you're going to fast-track and do 6,000 assessments in the next month? Process requires people to fill out a gender experience summary. Yeah, whether you've been receiving this care from somewhere else. Yeah, assessment providers will, quote, advise children as per the recommendations of the CAS review, which is under heavy scrutiny right now, not to take puberty blockers or gender-affirming hormones. A safeguarding referral in line with standard safeguarding approaches. As I understand it, safeguarding referrals will be a, quote, last resort. However, it is unclear what the criteria are to reach that stage or how subjective the concept of, quote, appropriate care is. The implication of this process is if a young trans person decides to pursue private gender-affirming care and their parents support them, they could be referred to local authorities. The letters frame this assessment as offering, quote, enhanced support while they are on the waiting list. But that's not just what the exercise is about. Oh yeah, we understand it cannot be easy for this person to have to wait a long time to be seen by specialist services. Therefore, the NHS is offering you some additional support, some additional mental health support. Jamie's take, he says, he says, any attempt to force, ask, or create pressure to consider other reasons for your sexuality or gender identity is a form of conversion therapy. If this plan is found to have been signed off at a state level, that has a huge implication. So yeah, TLDR, the guidance is in use by NHS England. 6,000 children are being invited to these assessments, which are alleging to be support, but are actually just gathering information. And you'll be officially advised to stop getting gender-affirming care. NHS England has sent a full response. They say this approach is about putting in place, quote, an enhanced mental health support offer. And this is crucial. They said it's optional to engage in this process. NHS England has put in place an enhanced mental health support offer for all children and young people under 18 on the waiting list for specialist gender services or who are awaiting their first appointment with the new services. They added patients will be given the choice whether they want to take up this support offer and whether the outcome of their appointment with a mental health professional, their place on the waiting list for the gender services will not be affected. If you say so. If you say so. Yeah, if you're gonna, like, take forever to give these kids, like, okay, why are you not just fast tracking the first, this is like a first appointment mental health thing. If you are forcing these kids to go through psychiatric evaluation before giving them transition-related health care, why are you not just giving them that? Why are you not just giving them their first appointment in the process of getting puberty blockers? Why are you fast-tracking a wellness check? Like, if you're capable of processing 6,000 children in a wellness check midway through them being on the list, what is stopping you? Aside from deliberate, willful, bureaucratic nonsense, overt, abject transphobia. What is stopping you from just processing these children and getting them on the fucking healthcare? I mean, because they don't want them to be on it. That's what it comes down to. They refuse to provide it on the NHS. They are going to now crack down and investigate your families if you go do it privately or if you mail your medicine in from fucking Canada or something. Yeah, how many of those kids will commit suicide? We already know there are plenty of people. Like, I don't even know the exact number. Frankly, I wonder, I feel like there should be like a unique subsection of transgender day of visibility observed in the UK for specifically those who have killed themselves waiting for this care. Because I am gonna just put a guess out there and say that it's at least dozens of people over the last, not even 10 years, because they used to be way, way, way better at providing this care. Like the last 5 years, let's just say, how many dozens of trans people have killed themselves waiting for this care? Like, this is a travesty on the NHS. This is a crime. Like, even if it's not legally in the construct of the legal system in the UK a crime, it is a crime against humanity. Making a deliberate choice to torture children. Torturing children. Forcing them to wait. My back is getting sore. Yeah, can we please call up The Hague? Trans people are just the last group that anybody gives a fuck about. So it's kind of hard to get any momentum on this stuff. Like when the entire global West apparently has decided to become barely better than, like, remember the videos that you used to see of like gay men being pushed off the top of buildings in like Middle Eastern countries? Just, we are exactly like that, but we don't like the optics of pushing people off of buildings. That's exactly what we are, though. Just like only this much marginally better than countries where it's literally the death penalty to be gay. This is the social murder aspect of it all. They can't put the death penalty on trans people because a lot of people would freak the fuck out about that, but they can slowly pressure you until you kill yourself. That's totally legal. That's totally fine. People will even say, oh, well, we need to put more funding in the NHS. You can kill people and get more funding. Yep, transphobia with manipulative extra steps. Let me see, I don't think there's anything else in here about this. All right. Well, maybe that's all I can say about that, and maybe we'll add it to the notes. UK again. Ba-da-ba-ba-bum, ba-ba-ba-ba-ba-ba-bum. Excuse me. Okay, we basically only have the EL0N thing, and I don't even know if that's going to be a proper segment. Does it even need to be a proper segment? We're just going to meme and cream. Been dealing with an Airbnb nightmare. I'm sorry to hear that, Duke Bonanza. Ugh. 117 likes today. Good grief. Cream segments would be good. Ah. I don't need these tabs open anymore. Oh, J.K. Rowling. That's our next segment, is J.K. Rowling. Like, again, I don't even know, like, does this need to go on the channel? It's pretty funny, but it could be stream-only content. Silly, silly. I've been posting a bunch more on my Patreon lately, and I say a bunch more, and I don't mean like I have not been posting a bunch, but I've been posting a bunch more than usual. So hey, if you've ever thought about subscribing for $1. You can get pictures and stuff. There's free stuff over there too. You can subscribe for free, you know? Some stuff goes out to the patrons only for like a couple of days and then it'll go public. Joanna, I know. Or it's just Joanne, actually. Joanna is a character in Sweeney Todd. That's a different thing. Very different. Totally different thing. EL0N, JK. They're perfect bedfellows for each other, honestly. Now there's gonna be beef. Beef, 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 beef. It's jowling, cowling, rowling. Miss Joanne Rowling, her entire personality and career and everything is basically about trans people at this point. Even the books that she writes at this point are about the scary, evil threat of cross-dressing males and the fact that they make your self-defense instincts not work as good. And then, oh, he can get close to you and then he'll commit a sex crime on you and then he'll murder you. Like, this is the bogeyman that lives rent-free in Joanne's brain. It's like the meme where SpongeBob is laughing through all the walls and floors, but it's just trans people. We're in the walls. Yeah, she's got so much beef with trans people, you could call it Arby's. Yeah. Oh, man. So in this particular instance, she's quote tweeting something or whatever. So the person said, "So only equipment makes one a woman? That seems a very narrow view of what makes a person a woman. What if you have female equipment but never have children? Are you still a woman? Is it just having the equipment or must you use it? What if you have both sets of equipment?" JK says, "You've asked me several times, several questions on this thread and accused me of avoiding answering. So here goes." And then we can't read the rest of this because this is a screenshot. "But I believe a woman is a human being who belongs to the sex class that produces large gametes. It's irrelevant whether or not her gametes have ever been fertilized." Okay, and then she continues, like, okay, we get it. We get it, Joanne. We get it. Like, I just call her Rowling, military way of referring to her. She is not worthy of my addressing her by a first name. I like calling her Joanne because she shortened her name in order to be an author. Like, she deliberately left off that her name was a female name. So I like calling her Joanne because it seems like she doesn't like being called that. Like, she's still on Twitter as JK Rowling. And actually, it's JK Rowling. I know how to correctly pronounce it. I won't. Sorry, not doing it. But yeah, so it's pretty sad that this is her entire personality. It's the only thing she cares about. It's the only thing she talks about. Like, it's all she does now. And even Elon Musk says, "While I heartily agree with your points regarding sex/gender, may I suggest also posting interesting and positive content on other matters?" Imagine if Elon Musk told you to touch grass. You know what I mean? It's like, yeah, what is in your life other than this? Do you ever talk to your kids? Do you ever go play cricket? Do you ever go, like, for a walk? Do you ever see a pretty flower? Does she ever post anything else than this? And, like, I wonder if it's because Elon is concerned about he wants to make more money on the platform, obviously. So if JK Rowling is not just a TERF, but she also talks about other things, like, of course Elon Musk wants to bring interesting and positive content to the platform. Like, I don't know if she actually responded to this. I don't even know if it matters. I don't even know if it matters if she responded to this. I just think it's really, really, really funny. It's like she wanted to sound smarter than saying just XX chromosomes and made it so much weirder as a result. I mean, that's the thing. They have to say, "of the sex class that makes the largest gametes," because they already know. that not every woman has XX chromosomes. They've already had this gotcha. So, like, the definition has to keep getting longer and more abstract because it doesn't work. Yeah, this man baby who absolutely needs to touch grass is out here telling someone else to touch grass. Yeah, the most divorced man in the world. I saw an ad on Twitter today that says, yes, vaccines do cause autism. The site is not doing well. Oh no, it's not doing well. JK can't have breakfast without blaming her burnt toast on trans women. How could trans women do this to me? She's just a big baby. She's just a big, big, big baby. Sometimes these people, you know, accuse trans people of not having anything else going on. And yeah, for the first year or two that you're on hormones, it is like the main thing that you're thinking about because you're wanting all these changes. You're like hyper analyzing your face in the mirror. Like, you're like, is my ass bigger? Or like, is my voice getting deeper? You know, you're thinking about a lot of different things like that. So yeah, for a couple of years, it tends to be a little bit all-consuming for people. But, you know, we have a lot of other stuff going on. In fact, I know a lot of trans people, myself included, get really tired of talking about trans stuff at a certain point. And of course, we get pigeonholed into this, so it's like you still kind of have to talk about it, or other people will bring it up even if you are trying to, like, if you're trying to be a person who talks about Star Trek or Magic the Gathering, there are going to be people who won't let you talk about that without pointing out your gender, you know? So, but I know so many trans people who have wonderful hobbies. I'm into archery. I've met other trans people who are into archery. I've met lots of trans people who, yeah, like I said, they like Magic the Gathering, or they like Star Trek, or they like hiking or working on cars. Like, we are human people who have other stuff going on. And yeah, you might find some younger, like, I don't mean younger in the sense that they're like earlier in their transition, like baby transes who talk about it a lot, or sex accounts who talk about it a lot, because that's part of why people buy their porn is because they are trans. So of course that is like sexualized trans content is part of their platform online. Yeah, some people do focus in entirely on the trans stuff, at least temporarily. But like, I really rarely see a trans account post exclusively about trans issues in the way that J.K. Rowling posts exclusively about trans issues. Yeah, I hadn't even really thought about my transness for years until trans people started getting attacked by famous people and governments started taking things away from us. Invariably, it's always someone with no understanding of the intricacies of biology who pretends to have some objective and nuanced understanding based in biology. Like, oh, it's just such obvious basic biology. Oh, I'm sorry, you never made it to advanced bio? Shut the fuck up then. I would imagine her definition makes exceptions for people who would produce eggs were it not for some biological defect. I mean, yeah, that's what belonging to the sex class that produces these gametes. Like, so even if, like, if you are basically phenotypically female, if you look female, but for some reason you are infertile and don't produce the gametes, well, you were still born as part of the sex class. And like, I mean, she's not wrong in that you will still be subject to misogyny and attempted reproductive control even if you are not personally capable of having children. But that's like where the logic ends, truly. Ooh, yeah, I think that's fair. Um, Back in the day, ContraPoints made a point about how these people will whinge about trans-inclusive language, like birthing persons or whatever, but then they refer to themselves as large gamete producers. They're accusing us of reducing women down to their bodies, and yet they're the ones doubling down on, well, it's about the gametes that you produce. Yeah, it's bending over backwards and being overly wordy to avoid accidentally being openly circular. Yeah, like I said, the definition has to get longer and weirder in order for them to avoid... It's just constant goalpost shifting. If they say chromosomes and then we prove that chromosomal anomalies are very common, well, that kills their point. So then they have to move the goalposts to producing large gametes. Like, okay, well, what about people who don't produce gametes? What if they were born never doing it? Like, what if it's a female who was born with internal testicles? Or what if it's a person who's had a hysterectomy? Like, okay, that's not, you can't define it on that. They're just going to keep shifting the goalpost until they find a definition that's kind of harder to poke holes in, but it's mostly because it's a nonsensical, like, yeah, belonging to the sex class. Okay? What is a sex class? Yeah, Foucault spinning in his grave at the word sex class. Raising chickens makes me a large gamete producer. True. Anyway, dumb people keep being dumb. News at 11. Back to you for the weather. Oh, gosh. I do like that. Raising chickens makes me a large gamete producer. Okay. On the off chance that I decide to turn this into a segment, it's going in the notes. High five. We did it. Oh my god, my belly is making all kinds of crazy noise. What's up, Darth Gently? My sex class is T-Dick. True. It's gonna rain. It's been raining all week for me. Here in Kansas, it's been like pretty much constantly rainy. We've gotten a late... It's supposed to be April showers, May flowers, but it came late this year. Which I guess is usually what you want. I turned that into a sex joke that ultimately undermined the point about climate change. My eyeballs. Aren't intersex people more common than redheads? They're approximately as common as redheads, I think. Like, it's a roughly 2%. Well, it's 2% with defects at birth. Like, with, it's like 2%, I think, is just the number of people who it's obvious at birth. If we counted everybody with PCOS, which is an intersex condition, or if we counted, like, if we actually thoroughly surveyed the whole population and found out how common it really is for there to be totally normal females who have XY chromosomes because the SRY gene on their Y chromosome doesn't work, or the people with, like, partial androgen insensitivity. Like, you don't find out about androgen insensitivity until the kid is older and is supposed to be going through puberty, and then the testosterone is just not doing anything to them. Ugh. Don't send naders my way. Come on. That's rude. Melody. Yeah, it's a dumb statistics argument, for sure. Yeah, I think it might actually be raining currently, but I'm not totally sure because I don't have a window right next to me. I'm intersex with Klinefelter syndrome and a redhead. Yes, enjoy that unicorn status, Freya. Oh, well, we got to 100 likes today. We got $16 in donos. I think that we might have had a very successful stream today. Maybe not the most successful stream, but a pretty darn successful stream. We're gonna keep trucking along. On Wednesday, I will be planning on seeing you on Wednesday. This next month is going to be so eventful. I've got a birthday this month. Not my birthday, but a birthday that I'm going to participate in. And next month is an event that I get to go to. And then my tattoo I'm going to finish next month. Like, ooh. How much would it be to get a chromosome test or hormone test? Would it even be worth looking into? I don't think that you would get that kind of thing covered. I think chromosome testing in particular is quite expensive. So if you don't have a compelling insurance-related reason to do it, I don't think that, generally speaking, it's going to be cheap or covered by insurance. Mersh says $2,000 out of pocket. Mersh would know. All right, successful show today. Thank you all for hanging out with me. Appreciate you participating in the chat and all that jazz. And I'm gonna go have an afternoon snack now. Yummy, yummy in my tummy. All right, y'all. Be good, or at least don't get caught. And I'll see you Wednesday.